the ungodly. Officer in the back.
Is it by reputation, sir?
Get a brother a hand by his reputation. He lived a solid life, you understand, and the Lord took him, of course, away from his wickedness. But what does that mean for a man that is wicked? What type of judgment shall he receive? I'm asking. Go ahead, Al.
Shimmy outside, brother. Homie house, Shemala, talking about Shimmy outside. Wrap it up. Pasati, mi gente. Pasati, sacerdotes y oficiales. Mi nombre es General Mahayaman. Soy tu hermano. Y estos son los anuncios. Somos la escuela israelita de conocimiento práctico universal. Comenzamos en 1 Oeste, calle 125, Harlem, Nueva York, desde 1969, debajo del comando de el general Yahana. Carnales, esta es la verdad. Si tú eres latino, negro o indio, nativo, tú eres Israel, el pueblo elegido, Dios. Tu madre y tu padre dicen que somos un culto y mantienen su iglesia sin culpa. I'll take your questions in the room. Oh, appreciate that. Take some ice with that. I take you. Go ahead, Warren. What was your question?
Slide, sir. The question was in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verses 1 and 2.
Okay, I'm ready.
Colonel Khan, sir, just a general breakdown of it, sir.
Okay, I'll take it. Also, I appreciate it, Warren. Also, remember, I need to get to my topic tonight, which is the cause and the cure for the gang culture in Chicago. We'll go into that tonight. I don't know if many of you know, but there are more gang members in Chicago than anywhere on the planet. In Los Angeles, there are, according to the Criminal Justice Society of America, there are 28 to 30,000 gang members in Los Angeles. In the city of Chicago, there are 68,000 gang members in Chicago. I mean, and the murders are insane and always have been. Right now, the murders are low in Chicago. Years past, brother, they were triple what they are right now. All right, so we'll go into that tonight because it's part of your everyday life. Part of how you grew up. It was absolutely part of going to school, going to grade school and high school and trying to get home. We're going to go into that tonight. We'll go into the cause and the cure. Everyone understands. I'll answer your question now, Warren.
Colonel Khan, sir. Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face.
Give me Wisdom of Solomon 4 and 8.
Colonel Khan, sir. Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 8. For honorable age is not that which standeth.
Skip down. 4 and 9.
Colonel Khan, sir. Verse 9. But wisdom is the great hair upon men.
5. Skip down to the next chapter, the first verse.
Colonel Khan. Chapter 5, verse 1, Wisdom of Solomon. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him.
You want a general breakdown, correct?
Colonel Khan.
This day is about Judgment Day, right? The day that every Israelite has been waiting on for thousands of years. For thousands of years, your people have suffered very similarly to what you're suffering right now in Chicago. It's been the same thing over and over again. The same thing in Babylon. The same thing in Rome. The same thing for our brother and his daughters in Sodom and Gomorrah. This exact same thing. Living under another people, under their laws, under their culture, and under their oppression, and trying to find a way to survive. trying to find a way to keep the Most High's laws in a strange land, and every day being beat to death by someone else's oppression. So what have we waited for? Judgment Day. The day when all of our hard work, all of our patience, all of our kindness one towards another finally pays off. And in that day, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness. In that day, finally, instead of you being ashamed because of who you are, being ashamed because you keep the Most High's laws, being ashamed because you don't get high, being ashamed because you're not a sodomite. I never thought the time would come up. I never thought the time would come when you would have to be ashamed for not being gay. And that is the time you're in right now. Like right now, you cannot just not be gay and be against being gay and never have any feelings for sexuality for another man. That's considered bigotry. And for you to just not be gay, that is mind-blowing when I think about how far we've fallen, man. That's far. Well, in this day, you'll be able to stand in great boldness. You know what boldness means, right? Courage. Where you're not afraid, you're not scared, you're not afraid to lose your job over it, you're not afraid to be hated because of it, you're not afraid of persecution because of it. On this day, you just stand boldly, with great boldness, with great courage. Continue.
God. And made no account of his labors.
See, I'm missing a part. I'm missing something I was looking for earlier. Then read it one more time. Go ahead.
Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him.
That's what I need, young warrior. Right there. Stand with great boldness in the face of such as have afflicted him. Meaning what? You stand boldly and look the devil in his face. Look your oppressor straight in his face. Now you're not just a piece of garbage who he feels pity on. Is all you are today. All you are today is the problem. Let me tell you, brother, something. I'm going to make this very clear to you. There are so many, probably a plurality, probably a majority of black reverends, black preachers, Hispanic reverends and preachers, and black and Hispanic politicians that would love for the majority of the young black men in Chicago to die. They would prefer that. They would look at it like it's a solution. You understand? And I am not exaggerating. Like they look at you like, can't somebody just do something about you? Meaning wipe you out. And they are ecstatic when you kill each other. When you kill each other, they look at that like solving the problem. You understand? Like the problem is you. And they're afraid to go outside and they're afraid of to walk down the street because of you. And so the perfect solution is for you to kill each other. And I'm telling you, there are politicians that want it to happen. There are preachers that want it. The IUIC wants you to kill each other. They want you to die because it's like the solution to this problem that they can't fix. Prison doesn't fix it. Right? What fixes it? Nothing fixes it. The gun laws in Chicago, brother, are ridiculous. And yet every criminal has a goddamn gun. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to stop it. They would love for every Mexican in Chicago to kill one another. They would love for every Judite to kill one another. And then there would be less of you. And there would be nothing there but your empty houses to gentrify. Your empty neighborhoods. Now it's for them to take over. They want you to die. Well, in this day, you get to stand up in the face of them that afflicted you for so long, that brought the drugs into your neighborhoods, that brought the pollution into your mind and into your lungs, that brought death into your family, that divided you from your woman and weakened your child. And on this day, you get to look at him in the face and say, now what? Now we're here. Now you are looking in the face of the consequences of your actions. And that's what our oppressor never gets, brother. He never gets the consequence. He never gets what he has coming to him. Well, on this day, he gets it up. On this day, he gets what's coming to him. I pray you understand that. Continue.
And made no account of his labors.
Of his what?
Of his labors.
I don't know who else this could be talking about. Made no account of his labors. because you work the fields here so he can eat. Without the tribe of Yashikar, brother, there would be no food in America. Food, you wouldn't have food. It'll be Russia over here. The only reason it's not Russia is because of Yashikar. Otherwise, there would be bread lines around the block to get a loaf of bread, and it would cost 50 euros to get 50 rubles to get a loaf of bread. The only reason you even have food is because of Yashikar, and yet they're hated and murdered and slaughtered. Without the tribe of Judah, brother, this place would be the Ukraine. You'd be sitting in the goddamn Ukraine with nothing at all, no culture, no art, no buildings, no cities, no money, without the tribe of Judah. And yet you are hated. They give no account of your labors, and they think there will be no consequence. On this day there is. On this day there will be. Continue.
When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear.
What are they going to see on Judgment Day? Can everyone hear me? I got no mic on me. Am I all right with this? Do I need this for the room?
I can go on.
Let me know. Step it up, all right?
I'll put it there just in case they.
Most High in Christ. Read that part one more time. Turn it up a taste if you don't mind. If it can be turned up. Good. Go ahead. No sweat.
Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear.
What will they see on Judgment Day, officer? And Hispanic. Give him a hand, though. Give him a hand. That's your salvation now. Many of you in Chicago thought your salvation comes when you get a new mayor. That's what y'all thought, right? I mean, these stupid mayors. One time back in the day, they had a Mayor Daley, who was just mayor forever. Just mayor. He ran this town like a gangster, like a goddamn gangster organization, like a mafia family, some Irishman named Daley. Then he gave it to his son. I'm sorry. Too out of word. Then gave it to his son. I did some research on it, of course. The brothers helped me out. Officer Mayad. Who else helped me out? A warrior. Give Officer Mayad and Officer Warrior. They gave me some help. I believe I sent it to the brother. I believe I have it. I'll put up in a minute. You know, Chicago, according to the government, is the most corrupt city in America. And it's been that for 3 years in a row. This is the most corrupt city in America. There is no place with more corrupt cops or more crooked politicians or more crooked aldermen or more crooked imams or more crooked minister Farrakhan's or more crooked Catholic priests than Chicago. And this is not what Commander General Yohana said. This is what the criminal justice system says, because they arrest so many of them and convict and indict so many of them. There are no cops. You watch the cops all over New York and other places, Zach, and how corrupt and evil they are. There is no police department more corrupt than the Chicago Police Department. How do I know? The criminal justice system said so. You can just Google what I just said. They are this is the most corrupt city in America. They constantly hurt you and nothing happens. They receive no consequence. On this day, they will. Your salvation can't come from voting. Right. Can't come from preachers. Right. Can't come from marches. My God. How many marches do you need here in Chicago? Right. Your feet must be killing you. Right. For all of the damn marches that have been going on here since the 60s. Oh, 60s. I think the 30s is some garbage like that. The 30s with the marches and the singing. Please, warrior.
Yeah, when you go to the marches, you have 30 out 16 that
give him a hand. The warrior saying all they're doing is waiting to kill you anyway. And the march is just for you to tire yourself out. Right. A march is good to make. It's like something you do to a child, so a child can play and think that they're doing something. Like a child gets on. You ever put your son in your car or your daughter and let them get behind the wheel and they feel like they're driving? That's what marching is. Like marching makes you feel like we're doing something. We're changing the world. We're doing it. We're doing it. And then that's that. And you go back home. And if you dare to do anything that the white man didn't want you to do, they would kill you. But they let you march because it makes a baby feel like he's a man. But marching is not something that a man would do, Captain.
So like you said, usually when you let your child do that, usually they just go to sleep anyway. That's all you want to do is run themselves out to go to sleep. Like,
Give him a hand, because that's what I'm describing. Hey, I'm describing busy work. You get my point? Busy work for kids to do, to feel like, woo, I'm a big boy now. You know, I'm grown. So they let you march and vote and march, and it means nothing. Your salvation is coming from the sky.
that's right.
It is not coming from the voting booth or from marching your feet up and down the goddamn block. It's coming from the sky, brother. A superior military force is going to invade America, and that force is coming for your salvation. And so, Brock, they have a wire shot. Please, Detroit. You need a mic? Can I hear you? Give me 1 second. See me one more time, Mike, please. You're welcome.
Hey, so like you, General, if I may, I would like to get a breakdown, like a general breakdown on the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, and verse 8.
Give me 1 second. Let me make sure I'm done. You good here? Who had the question over there? Slack. Give me 1 second. I'll get you after this, all right? Also, someone tell me about the questions online if I have any, all right? You got it. Let's finish up.
Kind of a concept. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear.
When they see the chariots in the sky, they will be troubled with terrible fear. Keep going.
Kind of a concept. And shall be amazed at the strength, at the strengthness of his salvation.
The strangeness. No sweat. Meaning, I think this week, the Congress just admitted that there's aliens this week. Okay? And nobody gave a damn. It was like, oh yeah, there's aliens. We got 3 of them in the basement. Yeah, we got them down there. They tied up down there. So we got them. The cat said they have a spaceship as big as a football field. We caught 3 of them. We got them in the basement and tied up down there. Nobody gave a damn about any of that because I think the whole world knows it's BS. And it's a lie. But this is a fact. Congress wants to spill money into the Space Force. Like all this whole thing about the UFOs. If you brothers don't know, I'm just telling you straight up what happened this week. They had a congressional hearing. And they said, are there aliens? The cat said, yes. We got them in the basement. That's what happened. The cat said, and nobody gave a damn. It didn't make breaking news. It was nothing. The cat said, yeah, we got them in the basement. Yeah, 3 of them. Well, did you find any, they used some word that mean, but they said biologics. You find any biologics? Yeah, we got some biologics. We got them right down there, locked up.
I think it's like biatomics, something like that.
Some word like that. That meant alien niggas. And they said they got them. And they was like, all right, we got them, no sweat. And yeah, they invading us, and they got spaceships as big as a football field. We got them too. We got them. They tied to a chair, whooping they, giving them business down there. Nobody gave a damn. Let me explain to you what this is about. They are going to spill so much money into building their own UFOs. It's going to be like a World War II initiative. They're going to build them the way they build aircraft carriers or fighter jets. Please, officer. Sure. Microphone, 1 second. Go ahead.
What is going on in the case of El Salvador today? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the gangs, the MS-13 in the street, 18.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they are gangs, right?
See.
So my question is this: how can you explain it according to the Bible? How these gangsters, these gangs, they are being arrested down the street in my country, right?
Mm-hmm.
So according to the media, okay, the president of El Salvador, who is actually a Palestinian.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
His name is I forgot his name anyway.
Mhm.
The person is a Palestinian, okay? So she's supposed to be doing very good, okay?
Mhm.
Okay, arresting, the gangsters who
You're probably these brothers on camera too.
who was making,
You can, all right.
the
Go ahead.
life very difficult,
See?
for the honest citizens
Mhm.
of El Salvador,
Mhm.
which are the tribe of Sabalawan.
See.
I am
See.
Sabalawan, sir.
Mhm. Come.
Soy de la tribu de Zabulón, señor.
Sí.
Okay. Okay. Now, how can you explain this? How it's going to happen? How it is? Okay. Since he's arresting, so many gangsters and putting in prison.
Mhm.
Okay. He put him up like 70,000 already. Okay.
Mhm.
Gangster. So he cleaned up the streets. Okay, with the gangster. Now the people, the regular citizens, the one who love peace, they are living, in peace right now.
Mhm.
Okay, so many citizens from around the world, they are visiting El Salvador, all right,
Mhm.
right now. Okay, then I want to see your point of view for this matter. How this is happening, okay? Like for example, in the case of Mexico, okay,
Mhm.
another president who is actually not Mexican,
Of course.
okay,
Mhm.
not Native American.
Of course.
I've been following, his ancestry.
Mhm.
He is from Spain,
Yes, he is. Come.
and also the president of Chile, he's a European.
Yes, he is. Come.
All right,
Mhm.
so can you explain me this, sir, please?
Give him a hand. Yahweh in el nombre de Yahushua que bendiga. I'll explain it to you. That's my topic tonight. My topic tonight is the cause and cure for the gang culture. El Salvador has been swallowed up for years in gang culture. Mexico, Colombia. Give me 1 second, but I will explain El Salvador. And also, I would like you to maybe tell the brothers and sisters more about your personal history with El Salvador and what you've seen growing up there. Not many of us here know about El Salvador, but give me I need 1 second because what you're asking is going into my topic tonight. But I will explain El Salvador, Colombia, and Mexico, and all over South and Central America. The same thing that is happening in Chicago is happening in El Salvador. But of course, now you have a new politician. And he's coming to office, and guess what he is? He's tough on crime. Raise your hand, Judites, if you've been through that. A politician that's tough on crime. Oh my good. El Salvador has one now. Oh, and he's tough on crime. And he's locking up all of the gang members. Raise your hand, Chicago, if you've had a mayor that was tough on crime and locked up all the drug dealers. Yeah, everybody has been through that. Yeah, that's nothing. And in a second, you're going to understand why he's locking up the drug dealers, because all he's doing is freeing up money for his own personal. And that's all that ever happens. And that's what's going to happen in El Salvador. It happened in Colombia. It's going to happen in Mexico. And it's going to happen in Chicago. I'm going to explain it to you in 1 second, all right? Just know this, that our oppressor is the devil. And as long as you know that, then even when even when you think times are going to get better, they don't.
Right.
Remember, I come from the East Coast, brother. I remember Rudy Giuliani. Oh, brother, he was locking up everybody. I can't even describe to you how many times myself and Commanding General Yohana got pulled over when Rudy Giuliani was in the White House, was mayor of New York. Right. I was living in New York, and I was driving a good truck at that time. Ooh-wee. I'm used to driving a good truck usually and drinking good liquor. And I was driving a good truck. And that bastard pulled me over every day. And if you think I'm exaggerating, you talk to Commander General Yohana. Every day. I get in the car, I get pulled over. And that's that. And the cat would just say, listen, we're looking for guns. You know, if you don't have any, we let you go. And it was as normal as every day. And it became so, I didn't even care anymore. General Yohana would lose his mind like he was going to kill the cop. Remember that, Akim? I'm the sane one. Man, General Yohana, brother, Lord be with him. You know. I'm the one that's not crazy around here. That cop would pull me over, and I just knew we were getting shot every time it happened. And Rudy Giuliani cleaned up New York, put everybody in jail. And then you wait a few years and you realize he did it to make way for new gangsters.
Right.
And that was that. Let me get off of this so I can get on to my topic. Am I good here? Come on. Get Atlanta hand. Get Parliament headquarters. Next. Any questions? I'll take them in the room. You got it.
So, just a general breakdown of James chapter 2, 15 and 16.
Let me get that and let me get Detroit, all right? I try to move, all right? Let's go. If you have it, if someone else has it, they can read it.
James chapter 2, verse 15. If a brother or a sister be naked and destitute of daily food, verse 16, and one of you say unto them, depart in peace, be ye warned and filled.
This is, let me give you this scenario, all right? A brother or a sister. Now, this is James speaking to the brothers in the truth, the brothers who serve Christ. If a brother or a sister is hungry or thirsty, this person is starving, this person is poor, and you say to them, depart, get some food, get some water, meaning, all right, you go ahead home and get something to eat. You go ahead home and you get something to drink. That's what depart, be ye filled means, meaning go eat. That's what be ye filled means. I'm translating it into today's language. So you say, the brother says, I'm hungry. No problem, brother. You go leave and get something to eat. I'm thirsty. No problem, sister. Go leave and get you some water. If you do that to them, if you say that to them, go ahead.
Notwithstanding, we give them not those things.
But you didn't fill them. You didn't fill them. You didn't quench their thirst, but you just told them, go, be filled. Go, quench your thirst. But you didn't quench their thirst. You didn't feed them. Keep going.
Which are needful to the body.
Which are what?
Which are needful to the body.
This is something this oppressor that's over us will never understand. The things he denies us, we cannot survive without. We need them. If you don't have food out, which is what this oppressor will deny you, food, well, you cannot eat. You cannot, you brothers and sisters in the Midwest, I think you know this already. You can't drink your water down here.
Right.
Your water is terrible. It is poisonous. Who says that? The government. You understand? The white man says that water that's coming out the faucet in Detroit is like mud. In Flint, Michigan, and in Chicago is full of lead and carcinogenic. What's the word? Carcinogens? Full of that. And you'll just die over time if you drink the water. Well, how in the hell are they going to survive? You can't drink the water in Detroit, then how are they going to survive this? How? You have no food at all. You're begging for food. You can't get any food. If you move your husband into your house, they cut off your food stamps. So how in the hell are you supposed to eat? The things our oppressor doesn't give you are the things you need to survive. Now they come to the men of God in the UPK and they say, I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. If you don't feed them, if you do the same thing that our oppressor does, keep going.
What does it profit?
And what is the point of even being in the school? What's the point of doing this job? Now you're taking me again into my topic. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you why you have gangs in Chicago. Because you have an abundance of cruel authority figures. Right. And they're cruel. And those cruel authority figures create trauma. And those traumas create sick children. And sick children murder other sick children.
Right.
And that's it. And that's happening in El Salvador, in Mexico, in Guatemala, in Haiti. Because you have corruption in Haiti. Because the president, because the government are cruel. Then they pass that cruelness to children who can't get fed because their government is cruel. And then their parents are cruel. And that sickness passes to the child. Because a child needs to be cared for, brother. A child can't wonder where food is coming from. A child can't wonder where is their hug coming from? Where is their kiss coming from? And once that happens, that child will develop a sickness. And that sickness spreads like cancer. So what the Most High God is saying is that you're going to have to not be so goddamn selfish, or else this sickness will spread. That's the cure to ending gang violence, gang culture. Kindness at the top, kindness at positions of leadership, kindness at the parents, kindness at the people that sit at the head of the table, kindness from the adults. That's the cure to stopping the sickness. This is the precept. Of course, I got so much evidence, you know. I can just confound you and destroy your mind and make you cry because I have so much evidence on it. It's overwhelming. But yes, this is the precept. Someone comes to you, you can't just say, hey, listen, you can't tell them, oh, get a job, brother. Nah, that's not what Commander Juliana talks about. We don't tell people, yeah, I'm hungry, I'm starving. Well, you need to get a job. No, yeah, I guess I do. But I'm here in front of you because you're supposed to be my father. So I'm here in front of you saying, I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. It's your job to feed me. It's your responsibility. And if you do not feed him, he will find food another way. You understand El Salvador? You understand Mexico? You understand South Side, West Side of Chicago? That child will develop a cruelty and a selfishness that he will think he needs. And that's what happens when you grow up in Chicago. Because your father is a crackhead, and your mother's a whore, and she's a drug addict, and your mayor is corrupt, and your police department is corrupt, and your aldermen take bribes. Now here you are at 13 going to school being bullied every day, and no one will help you because the principal is cruel. The teachers are cruel. Your parents are cruel. And then that child finds a way to eat. I pray you understand. They find a way. They begin to think that selfishness will cure their hunger. And because the adults in their world are so unkind, they don't see an example that shows them otherwise. Everyone understands. I'll give you the proof in 1 second. You get it. Let me get Detroit right here. You got it. You got a question?
So I just wanted a general breakdown on the book of Jeremiah, the 14th chapter, verse 8 through 9. It says, oh, the hope of Israel, the Savior thereof in time of trouble. Why shouldest thou be as a stranger in the land, and as a wayfaring man that turneth aside to tarry for a night? Verse 9. Why shouldest thou be as a man astonished, as a mighty man that cannot save? Yet, though, O Lord, art in the midst of us, and we are called by thy name.
Let me break it down for you. Is that it?
That says, leave us not. That's
yeah. Okay, bring it, go to the top, and I'll break it down for you now.
Count on one copy.
Go ahead.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 8. Oh, the hope of Israel, the Savior thereof in time of trouble. Why shouldest thou be as a stranger in the land, and as a wayfaring man that turneth aside to tarry for a night?
Who is the hope of Israel? The Most High God is the hope of Israel. And what the Israelites are saying is, why should the Most High be like a stranger in Israel? Meaning what? From our perspective, the Most High God doesn't live in Israel. He's not with us. So we're asking the Most High God, why should you be like a wayfaring man? Who knows what a wayfaring man is? It's an old term. A wayfaring man. There's a good old slave song called Wayfaring Stranger. They made in, oh my God, it was this Confederate, it was a Confederate prison camp. and Camp Anderson. And they killed black people in this camp, brother. You should do the research on it sometime. It'll make you cry on how they killed black people during the time of the Civil War at this camp. I'm pretty sure it's called Camp Anderson. Someone look it up. It was a Confederate prison camp. And these slaves made this song called Wayfaring Stranger. Come on.
It's like I have the definition of wayfaring.
Go ahead.
It says of a person traveling on foot.
That's what it is. Meaning, why should the Most High be like someone who's just visiting Israel, who's just visiting this land? You're our hope. You're all we can depend on. Why are you like someone who doesn't live here? Meaning, why aren't you with us? Everyone gets the metaphor? Keep going up.
Why shouldst thou be as a man astonished?
Spell it for me, please.
Astonied.
Can't understand that.
Astonished.
Astonished. Astonished is like shocked. Meaning, so we're depending on the Most High God to help us, to be with us. But instead, he's just visiting us. And when he sees our calamity, he's shocked. Why? Because he doesn't know the suffering we're in. He doesn't know the suffering we're in these prisons, in these ghettos. Why should he be like that? Why isn't he with us? Why isn't he here with us to be with us in this time of pain? Why is he like a traveler or someone shocked when he sees our condition? You understand? Keep going.
Come. As a mighty man that cannot save.
That's what the Most High is like to Israel. A mighty man that cannot save. He's strong. He's powerful. He's the Lord of Lords. I mean, sorry, that's Christ, but he's the Almighty God, but yet he does not save us. That's what it's like being black and Latino. Like, we believe in God. My God, no one else does. No one believes in the Most High more than us, but it does nothing for us. Why is God like that with us? Why is it like he doesn't see the projects? He doesn't see that little boy in his closet hiding. He doesn't see you under your bed. He doesn't see what was happening to your mother. He doesn't see what they did to your father. He's strong, but he cannot save. Why is he like that? Do you understand? We've lived this. So just think about what you've lived. And that night when you thought the Lord would come for you, when you thought he would help you, and nothing happened. That's what it's like being black and Latino. Come on.
Kind of what God says. So is it like,
See me one more time.
like basically like in a world where somebody is praying, they get in trouble, and then it's like the Lord don't help them at all?
Yes. Yes, and that's what he's describing. The water. Go ahead.
Kind of what God. Yes, thou, O Lord, art in the midst of us.
Yet you're in the midst of us. You're here, but it's like you're not here. It's like you're a traveler. It's like, you're astonished by our condition. It's like you're strong, but you can't save us, yet you're here. You understand, Detroit?
Kind of what God says.
Keep anything else?
That's it. What?
Everybody gets the point, all right? Next. Before I move on, why is that? Why is it like the Most High is not helping us, yet he's here? It's a bottom one, right? You got it.
We were talking about, gangs, in
Not that yet. Just answer my question first. Why is it like the Most High is not with us? He's not saving us. Why is that? Who wants to give that a shot? You got it out.
Because sins for our forefathers.
I'll take that's half of it. But of course, you can't think of sin like something your granddaddy did. It's something we did.
Right.
Right. We kept it going. Give him a hand. Right. The whole point of that precept is the Most High seems like he can't save us because we have yet to deserve to be saved. That's what you want to understand. You're going to have to deserve it. If you need a hero, you're going to have to deserve to be saved. You're going to have to be worth it. But to expect him to be with you and to save you is illogical if you're not someone that deserves it.
Right.
But if you deserve it, oh, then you absolutely can depend on his salvation. One day you'll stand in great boldness against he that has oppressed thee because you changed your life. But to be in the ghetto smoking weed and molesting children, thinking, why is this happening to me? You know, why is my life like this? Why am I poor? When is God going to help you? God is there with you, meaning he's the one cursing you. It just said he's there. Yet thou art with us. He's here. He's not far from us. He's with us. He's the one making sure you go to jail. He's the one making sure you get shot. It's him. He is not like a wayfaring stranger away.
Right.
He's not like someone who's not here. He's here, but you don't know he's here because you're wondering, for what, warrior, if he's here, why isn't he saving you? He's here to kill you.
Right.
That's what he's doing. You understand, Detroit? Go ahead.
Ignorant people in the world call it karma.
That's what ignorant people call it, karma. For some reason, I remember when karma started. And I wondered for years when Commanding Giuliano was telling them that their ways caused their condition.
Right.
They didn't believe that. You call it karma, everybody believes it.
Right.
I don't know. You gotta explain that. I guess because karma doesn't come with rules. Right? If you say God did it, then you have to follow rules. But if you say it's karma, you can just keep being a LGBT member. You can keep wearing purple. You can keep being in the IUIC. All right. Not there's anything wrong with wearing purple, but it's wrong to be in the IUIC.
That's right.
All right. Where are we at now? Let me get someone online, please. I'm trying to get it to everybody. I'm going to give you the ball of wine. Just wait 1 second, all right? Not now. Wait until I get to my topic. Go ahead. Any questions online?
No, sir.
Water for the scotch. It's good down here. I almost got to hook up on the scotch from headquarters. We got the same thing. Go ahead. What you got? Go ahead.
General breakdown of 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 3 to 5.
Solid. Go ahead and read it. 1 Corinthians 6 and 3 to 5. Someone read it for the sister.
Brothers.
For the brother, Salaki.
God, so I got it right here. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 3. Know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life?
Forget about it. Go up 2 verses and I'll explain this for you, all right?
God, sir.
Go ahead.
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 1. Dare any of you, having a matter against another, go to law before the unjust?
This is Paul speaking to the brothers in the school. He said, dare any of you having a matter against one another, go to law before the unjust instead of the just. What would this be? This would be like, please, officer.
It's like back 18 to 15.
Give him a hand. Absolutely. So now, imagine being a brother in the UPK, and you think you sold a brother your car or something like that, and you think he cheated you out of the money, and you take him to court and sue him. That is something that happens in the IUIC.
Right.
They do that to each other. Oh, I know. They call me about it. That's how I know. They go and sue each other, take each other to court. Hell, what am I talking? It's happening right now. The brother, yeah, what's his name? Brother Titus. Captain Tazaryak tonight is going to show a video where one guy pistol whipped another guy in IUIC, and then he made a video begging his members to give him those letters that you need to give to the judge, begging that the judge will lighten your sentence. Let me help you out, IUIC. Those letters do nothing.
Right.
I don't know those. Who knows about those letters? Lord have mercy. I ain't even thinking about them damn letters. Oh, your mama got the right. You over her shoulder like, Mom, listen, get the punctuation right. Tell him I loved you. Tell him I was good. I was a good boy. I would tell him I went to church every day and I was trying to go back to school. Your mama has to write you a Shakespearean letter to get you out of this hell that you up in. And you go on to everybody. Your baby's mama. You don't never get along with her. But you over there like, listen, put a period at the end of that. Tell him I loved my kids. Tell him I was getting a job. Come on, bitch. Tell him I was good. Let me help you out with that. Those letters are, who can blow my mind? Who's been here today? The letters you have to write to judge from your mom, your baby's mother, your high school teacher, from people that you know. Those letters are busy work. They're nothing. That judge is not going to look at your mama's writing and let you off from that murder. And that's not how it works. He doesn't care. The lawyer is going to tell you to write. Hold it for a second. The lawyer is going to tell you to write that letter because that letter gives you hope.
Right.
You know, you're writing it. Your mom is writing it. He's a good boy. I told you, my mom told the judge I was an expert chef. And I remember going, what? Let me tell you a little confession for the soul. When the cops came to drag me out of my house, I told the cops I was baking cookies. That's what I said. I said, I ain't been out the house all the house baking cookies. My mother heard that and told the judge I was an expert chef. Culinary genius. She wrote that in a letter to the judge. My grandma wrote a letter. Everybody, my baby's mother wrote a letter. Everybody wrote a goddamn letter. The judge said these letters are nice. It wasn't good enough. You hear my point? Those letters mean nothing. Those letters are busy work for you so that you don't lose hope. Well, the man in the IUIC is asking everyone in the IUIC to write him those stupid letters. When that doesn't beat a murder charge, they don't give a damn about your mama's love. Nigga, you shot at a mama that loved him. Anyway, the only thing that changes a judge's decision is evidence.
Right.
Well, the IUIC, they pistol beat each other, and they sue each other, and they take each other to court. Dare any of you to have a matter against one another and go to court before the unjust instead of the just. If you have an issue with another brother, you take him to counselor. Right. You don't take him to civil court. You don't take him to court before some sodomite judge.
Right.
You take him before the council in the UPK. Captain.
If I could, gentlemen, also that shows that what Sister Titus did proves that that IUIC will lie for each other as well.
Give them a hand. That's exactly what they do. They lie for each other. That's good. They lie for one another because they're liars. Everybody gets it. I don't know how to fix it. You got it.
Want to keep reading, sir?
Please. Do what?
And not before the saints.
And not before the saints. The word saint by definition means an Israelite who was a sinner who has converted to being an Israelite who keeps the commandments. That's in the law. Every Israelite is a saint. I can tell you how I was shot. What I just said is just the definition. You can look it up. All right? Keep going.
Verse 2. Do you not know that the saints shall judge the world?
You hear that? If you have a problem with another brother, some of you might, have some issue with a brother. You want to take him to court. Some of you sisters, if you ever take a brother into the school to child support court without coming into counsel, you're getting kicked out of the school. Does everybody understand? Sisters, you understand? You can't do that in here. You cannot take, if your husband is in the school, you cannot take him to child support court. You cannot do that. Why? Because Commanding General Yohana takes care of the children in here. You have no reason to now go take some brother in the school to court before some sodomite unjust judge. If you do that, then you unwrap your head and get the hell out of here. You're not allowed to be in this school if you take an officer in this school to child support court. Sister, do you understand? That's good. That's not something you can do. Why? Because don't you know the saints shall judge the world? You don't think we can solve your penny-ante problem you have with your husband? Your small, stupid little issue that you have? Because you want to take him to child support court because you're mad at him because he has another wife. Does the kid need food? Then you come to us for it. You don't need to go to child support court simply because you want to use the court to hurt him because he has another wife. If you do something like that in here, we'll be unwrapping your stupid head and getting you out of this school. Does everyone understand? That's good. You can't do that. If you're a brother in here and you're mad at this brother next to you, you think he robbed you because over some Bitcoin or something. Listen, you're a dummy. You're a dummy. What do you do? Sell you some Bitcoin? Sell you some bad Bitcoin? Yeah, so it went sour on me, the Bitcoin crowd. I don't hear about that Bitcoin anymore. What happened to that? It's gone. Oh, you were zealous about that Bitcoin, weren't you? Oh, you loved Bitcoin. Oh, you thought Bitcoin was going to change everything in your life. Now it's over. You are addicted to fads, young man. You have FOMO. Is that the right word? Fear of missing out. Well, you think he cheated you out of your Bitcoin plan, right? Or your real estate plan. You have a big plan for real estate and Bitcoin and all of your stupid ass plans that you have. You think he cheated you. You cannot sue him. You cannot take him to court. If you take him to court, you're getting out of here. You cannot do that. You take him to counsel. If you're angry at him about this, about that, about whatever stupid thing, any stupid reason that you think you should hate your brother over, you come to counsel. The minute you take him to court over it, you're done. You're gone. Does everyone understand? Here's my justification to get rid of you right here. This is it. You're reading it. Dare any of you go the law before the unjust instead of the just? Don't you know that the saints shall judge the world? We can handle your Bitcoin problem. We can handle that. It's not going to be too big for us. It's not going to be, so big that we don't know what to do about it. If you could just imagine the things that come up in council, it'll turn your hair white. So you mad at him because, what is this, about $2,000? We can handle that. It'll be fine. You don't sue him. You come to court in the UPK, not court in the world. Continue.
Concert. And if the world shall be judged by you,
And if the saints shall judge the world, keep going.
are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matter?
But we can't judge small matters in here. Commanding General Yohana put me in charge of the councils in this school. I can handle your stupid problem. It's not a big deal. It's not it won't blow my mind. Continue.
Verse 3. Know ye not that we shall judge angels?
Don't you know that we shall judge angels? What does it mean to judge angels? To tell angels what to do. And let's say you judge two brothers. Two brothers are having a dispute. The judge will say, you're wrong. You have to pay him $2,000. You're right. He owes you $2,000. That brother who owes the money will have to pay the other brother $2,000. The saints will do the same thing with angels. Come on, Wisconsin, that's where you're from, right? Go ahead, Warwick.
That means we hire saints.
Say it again.
That's mean we hire angels.
Don't think higher. Think that an angel will do what we tell them to do on earth. But an angel and a man are not in the same rank system. We're separate. Angels rule the supernatural world. The saints rule the natural world. A man can award you $2,000 because of a wrong that was done to you. An angel can make sure that the men that attacked the Kansas City 4 get shot next week. Y'all know that happened. Y'all know that happened. Yeah, that happened. Just last Monday, I'm with Commanding General Yohana, and they played this old video of commanding. Did y'all have the Jesus Christ Church, the red and white cats down here in Chicago? Y'all know who they are. It was these cats in Harlem called the Israelite Church of God and Jesus Christ. Ooh, and they thought they were the kings of New York. Ooh, they thought they ran New York. Well, anyway, they came up against Commanding General Yohana at Baltimore. And brother, I wish you could have this video. We played it last Monday. And Commanding General Yohana said, how dare you come up against me? God is going to kill that fat bastard. Tazadaki is dead. He died of the COVID-19 virus. He was 43 years old. 43. Say it again, Ashley. He died in prison. He got arrested for his crime of tax evasion or cheating. He wanted to be a famous rapper. Yeah, thank you. He was in jail and died of 43. Angels will obey us. Commander General Yohana will say, you're going to die. And an angel will say, come. And it happens. because that happened. And how could Commander General Yohana guess that? This man wasn't sick. He was robust and big and strong. Oh my God. He used to beat people up. I ran into some son he had in the gym yesterday. His son was scared to death of me because I remember when Tazadak here beat up his father, beat him up in the back room, whooped his ass unmercifully. And I told his son who I was. He looked at me and ran out the goddamn gym. It was ridiculous. And I couldn't blame the young brother. He's soft, of course, for me, how I look at young brothers. But he ran up out of there, and how in the hell could you blame him? This Tazadaki was such a terror. He's dead. He's dead now. The KC4 were in, I'm sorry, KC, right? The KC4, they went in there, and these bastards, purple pigs, went and helped the cops arrest them. What did we do? Nothing. We did nothing at all. We didn't do what the Nation of Islam did, which I'll tell you a story about them. We didn't do what the Christians did. We didn't do what the Arukans would do. We didn't do what the gangster disciples and with the black disciples and with the this and that, all of these other Islamic groups that came out of the Black Panthers. We didn't do what the Black Panthers did. We did nothing. I think 20 days later, they were ducking for cover, getting shot in the same city that the incident happened in. Yeah, that's how it works, young brother. That's how it works. You get that? That's the point of all. That's what it means to judge angels. You'll say something, and the angel will carry it out. He'll do it. And if you need proof, you might be the next proof. All right, don't need proof for that. Anything else? We good here? Come on.
All the way to verse 5, Public Show. How much more things that pertain to this life?
What's this like? If an angel will go kill someone because Commander General Yohana prophesied, how much more can we make sure that this brother who you had a baby with handles his responsibility to the best of his ability? We can handle that. If the cat needs to pay you money every month, we can tell him to pay you money and he'll pay it. Done. There's no reason. Or we'll tell you you're only doing this because you're mad because he has another woman. We can do both. We can judge the matter. We don't need, you to go to court over it. Everybody, that's the point, right? And this life means this realm, this life where you have money and food and clothing that babies need, and brothers argue over money or disputes. We can handle all the problems in this life. We can tell the angels what to do in the other life, in the supernatural life. Everyone understands? Continue.
Verse 4. If then ye have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge who are least esteemed in the church.
If then you have judgments, read it one more time.
If then ye have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge who are least esteemed in the church.
Read the next verse.
Verse 5. I speak to your shame. It is so that there is not a wise man among you.
Stop. One more time. Quickly.
Verse 4. If then ye have judgments of things pertaining to this life.
So now you have judgments of things pertaining to this life, food, clothing, things that this life requires. Go ahead.
Set them to judge.
And you go take a brother in the school, make him a judge. Keep going.
Who are least esteemed in the church.
The lowest brother in the school could judge these matters. An officer of 50 in the UPK is a better judge than some judge in court. That judge in court is a terrible judge. That judge in court gets paid per as many people he can put in jail. Meaning he gets a specific amount of money the more children he puts in juvenile prison. Am I making this up? I'm not. Go look it up. That's what happens in Chicago. They find out later that some judge is getting a percentage of money with every child that he puts in jail. And then they find out later that some private prison is paying this judge for every child. A judge gets paid. The state of Illinois gets paid when a woman puts you on child support. Go look this up. You know how your wife puts you on, or your ex-wife puts you on child support, right? And she gets a certain amount of money. the state gets another amount of money for every time a woman puts a man on child support. So if you two work things out on your own, the potholes won't get filled in the city. The lights won't be on. The city municipalities won't run because for every broken family, they get a percentage. And the woman doesn't know. The woman thinks that she's simply taking your money. But what she doesn't know is that the federal government is giving the state, the municipality, an amount of money for every case when he charges that a man is put on child support. Meaning, if your family stays together, the state suffers. That's for real. That's something you can put in your goddamn phone and look up. Say your name again. My God.
What's bringing out is so heavy because they. It's like, so what you're bringing out is so heavy because in Illinois, in Chicago, we have what's called the Iowa test. And that's a standardized test that we take from like 1st to 5th grade. And what I found out, and you can look this up, they develop new prisons and expand old prisons and create new branches and modernize them based off of 3rd grade Iowa test scores. So what you tested in the 3rd grade, they look at our score, Black, Hispanic, and scores, and they say, okay, this is going to be the new prison population. These are going to be the criminals, and they built new prisons and they expanded old prisons to prepare for us when we turn 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 25 years old, sir.
Based on those standardized tests.
On 3rd grade score.
And you're thinking that you need to pass that standardized test.
Right.
If you pass that test, the state would not be able to make more prisons. They need you to fail that test. The state gets more money the worse that you do on the test. So they're not going to create a situation where you do well on the test, because then they would lose money. You come to court in here. We'll keep your family together.
Right.
And here we know how to do that. If you can just have a little bit of discipline, especially you women, if you can, fight down that urge you have to destroy your home, you'll have a man, you'll have a family, and you'll get through it. That's what so many of you don't know. You'll get through it. You're just young and stupid, and you don't understand life. You think that your husband, the way he is now, you think that's how he'll always be, because you're dumb. And that's just who you are. You're stupid. And because you're so effing stupid, you look at your husband now, and you go, I don't like him. I'm taking him to child support court, and I'm divorcing him. And I'm going to find a new man. And he is going to be better than my husband. And guess what? In the beginning, he is better than your husband. But then what happens to the new man, sisters? Raise your hand and answer the question. Do you ever heard of a woman that left the truth because she hated her husband? Raise your hand. Sister, you heard of that before, right? Did she get with somebody new in the world? Right. Now, in the beginning, did she think that man was so much better than her no good UPK husband? Did it happen or not? What happened after that? Who knows? Let them answer. Sister, you can raise your hand. Break it down for me. Yeah, go ahead. Now you can't talk. Give her a hand. Good. Don't talk. Give me someone else. You ever heard of a woman who wanted to leave her husband? It can happen sometimes. She's upset with him. He's to this. He's to that. He's not this. She thinks she can find someone better. In the world, she leaves the truth. She leaves her husband. She gets this better man. What happens then? Anyone want to give it a shot? You got to raise your hand if you want to give it a shot. If not, it's all right. I'll answer it for you. Sister in the back. Say she dies. Give her a hand. Yeah, that has also happened. That happened about 2-3 times. Of sisters that you know that left their husbands and they're dead. They died. Let me give you the other side as well. The man who you leave your husband for, he changes. He's wonderful in the beginning. And then he stops being wonderful. And then what does that woman do? Come on. She stacks up a good body count. She leaves him for another man who's great. And then what happens with him? He changes. Then she leaves him for a great man who's better than the last one. And then what happens? He changes. Guess what would have happened if you stayed with your husband who's in the UPK? He would have changed too. Because everyone changes. Everyone changes. Your perfect man who is better than this brother, he is going to change. Well, if a good man can change from good to bad, why can't a bad man change from bad to good?
Right.
Everyone changes. You've got to stick. You've got to stick. And if you will stick, you will see your husband become 5 different people over 20 years. Or you could be with 5 men and all of them change. You understand? Either way, you're going to be with more men. You can stay with this one brother. He'll start off young and stupid and knows nothing, and he'll change, and he'll mellow out, and he'll slow down. I know he chases a lot of tail now. I know. I think he chasing tail. Something terrible. I'm trying to do something about it. It ain't working. It is not working. Okay, but I know. But I'm sticking with him. I ain't leaving him. I know he's going to change. Everyone changes. Or you leave him, and the good, wonderful man changes. You get the point, everyone. We'll keep your family together in here. We'll do what has to be done to keep your family together. We're better judges than the judges at family court. Are we done here or not?
Last, sir. Verse 5, last verse.
Send me one more time.
I speak to your shame. Is it so that there is not a wise man among you?
You see, he's saying that the brother of the lowest rank could handle these problems. Are you telling me there is no one with any wisdom in this school that can handle these stupid little problems? He's going in. Here's half my job. She went in your phone. That's half my day. Right there. Half my day is because you can't put a lock on your phone to save your goddamn life. So now I gotta get out. I can't get into that gym because I gotta sit in my car outside the gym because you can't put a lock on your phone. The face lock does not work because you gotta sleep sometime. If you didn't sleep, the face lock would work. But since you got to sleep, that face lock does not work. The finger lock, the finger thumbprint does not work. Why? Because you have to sleep sometime. You better put a code on your phone like you launching a nuclear missile. Alphanumeric. Tango, Bravo, Charlie, 1275. Alpha, Charlie, Tango. Because she is like the Mission Impossible. She's like the nigga in Mission Impossible with breaking codes. I can handle all that. I can handle your Facebook problems. It's not a big deal. Not only can I handle it, I could just pick some young brother. Right? I'll just pick him and he'll handle it. You can't tell me that there is no one with enough wisdom to handle these small problems. There's no reason to go to court. You understand? Anything else?
Last part of the last verse.
Go ahead.
No, not one that shall be able to judge between his brethren.
You get the point. That's the point. It's small. The whole point of all of this is that your problems are not big. They're small. Don't take him to child support court. Don't take your brother to civil court.
Right.
Just let us handle it or let some officer of 50 handle it. He would be better than a judge in the white man's world. Captain.
I just want to say, my third grader graduated with straight A's, 7th grade reading level, and he's a chess club.
Give him a hand. He's not here, right?
No, he was, but yeah, all that plan.
Ooh, I was gonna give him some money, right? And he missed out. Lay some cash on that young man. I have to see him back at headquarters. All right, well done. That's because of your parenting. Parenting. What you're doing with him is what cures the gang problem in Chicago.
All right.
That's the cure. What you're doing with that young man, with that young Ephraimite brother, is the cure for the gang problem in Puerto Rico. You're the authority figure who is not corrupt. You're the police officer, the alderman, the reverend, the mayor who is not corrupt. You're the authority figure in his life. that he can emulate. Well done, Captain. Well done. To what? Next. Any questions online? I'll get some. Any questions in the room? You got what you? Let me get the young brother right here. You up?
Break down. Appreciate they were running 6 and 14. They wouldn't be 3:15. So
Let's speak to the mic.
break down. How would you break the scripture down to Christian?
Nice and loud, brother. I'll break it down for you. Where are we at again?
To their advantage. It reads, for sin shall not have dominion over you, for you are not under the law, but under grace.
No sweat.
15 said,
Go ahead.
what then shall we see it because we are not under the law, but under grace?
That's what you cut him with right there. Okay, no problem. You can have a seat, brother. You're gonna read it one more time. Just read it slowly. Okay, I can't quite hear you either. Is the mic on? Tap the mic and see if it's on. Just speak into it a little louder, all right?
Romans chapter 6, starting at verse 14.
Read 13.
Verse 13. Neither yield ye your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin, but
Unto
yield
what?
yourselves unto God,
1 second, brother. Unto what?
unto instruments unto unrighteousness unto sin.
Now, what is sin? That's what you need first. You can just simply look it up in your Zondervan Bible Dictionary. What's your rank up? You can just simply look that up. You were a Christian. He pulls this precept for you because he thinks this means you can sin. Is that correct? That's your question. You think a Christian might pull this, and he might pull it to what end? Because he thinks that this means that you are not under the law, that you can sin. So you want to break it down slowly because he is reading past what it's saying and assuming something based on what the preachers say. So you first want to slow it down. All right? Read it again, nice and loud and nice and slow. What is sin? Who wants to break that down? Sin, come on. Give him a hand. That's what you got to go to, 500. You got to go to 1 John 3 and 4 to cut Christians. What is sin? The transgression of God's law. That's what sin is. That's what, now you start there. This precept is clearly against what? Sin. It's right in front of you. Well, sin is the transgression of God's law. So how can this precept be saying, do not sin, and at the same time telling you that you are not under the law? How? Because those are two different things. Anyone who does not sin is not under the law. If you do not sin, you are not under the law. Don't raise your hand, but if you've ever had a warrant in your life, you're afraid. You're afraid to drive, afraid to be in your house, afraid to pick up your kids from school. Correct? Why? Come on, in the microphone now. Say it.
One pullover on a copy, one to jail, you're not going to court.
So why, but let's say you don't have a warrant. Then why are you not afraid to drive, to pick up your kids from school, to be in your house? Why are you comfortable with doing those things?
Because if you get pulled over, cop has nothing to,
A cop has what?
nothing against you.
He has nothing against you? What does that mean?
You arrest you, take you to jail.
A reason to arrest you? Do you mean the cop has no authority to arrest you? But if you have a warrant, what does he have?
Authority to arrest.
The authority to arrest. What does that mean in biblical terms? Being under the law. Being under the law means a cop now has the authority to lock me up because I am a. Give him a hand. That's it. That's it. But if you do not sin, if I didn't shoot that cat, if I didn't sell those drugs, then I'm driving, with the window down fine. So many of you brothers are going to go to jail because you smell like weed. Because smelling like weed does what, brother? It gives the officer the authority to arrest you, even though weed is legal. But driving while you smoke weed is not legal. So the minute the cop pulls your window down and he smells weed, I don't know how you're going to not smell like weed if you smoke weed. You can smoke weed in the house. Get in the car, you stink like weed. My car stinks like weed from driving past you. I drive past you. Sometimes I'm in my car and I go, is there somebody in the back seat getting high? Because the weed is so strong in my car from driving next to your car. How in the hell is the cop not going to pull you over? Smelling like weed puts you, brother, under the law, because you're not supposed to smoke weed when you drive. So if you smell like weed, a cop can say, I smell the smoke, the smell of marijuana. Get out of your car. Now I'm searching your car. Now I have justifiable cause to search your car. Based on what? The smell of marijuana. Well, if you are a sinner, then now a cop has authority over you. Right. You are under the law. But if you are not a sinner, you are not under the law, from the law. Give him a hand. Done. That's how you cut Christians. Now, I'm going to just read it now, and you're going to see it. Go ahead and read it.
Romans chapter 6, verse 14. For sin shall not have dominion over you, for ye are not under the law.
Sin shall not have dominion over you. What does dominion mean? Rulership. Why? Because I'm not under the law. I'm not murdering anyone. I'm not selling drugs. I'm not smoking weed. My car doesn't smell like weed. I don't smell like weed. I'm not under the law. If I have a gun, and I absolutely do have a gun, it's legal. You get the point. If I can't legally have a gun, then I don't have a gun. The law has no dominion over me because I'm not breaking the law. So the law has no authority over me. Continue.
Verse 15. What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law?
So now, because we don't have a warrant, because the cops have no authority to pull us over, are we now going to sin? Are we now going to break the law because we don't have a warrant? Because the cops aren't looking for us. So now, will I start smoking weed now? Will I start selling drugs now? Will I start being a drug addict now? Go ahead. What does grace mean? That's what you need also. Grace. Officer in the back.
Grace is the period that we have where we've seen in the past. We have a period now where we can come back to the Lord and put away sin.
How did you find the truth?
My father.
Who's your father?
UK.
Where's he at? In the UK? I knew someone raised you in the truth. I could tell this brother here has a father in the truth. This guy got him a good young brother. How old are you?
21.
21. You got a rib? Give him some. 21. Give him too much. 21. Don't ruin him. Well done, brother. When you were speaking, I could tell that you had a father in the truth. This brother is the cure for gang violence. Him. What your father gave you was the cure. You had an authority figure that was moral. It had morals. That's the cure, Rob. The problem is in this society, the mayor has no morals. The police chief has no morals. Everyone you meet in society, if you're in the gang, guess what's going to happen? Your gang chief is going to do what? Betray you and try to kill you. The cat who you look up to in the gang, he doesn't have any morals. Like you look up to him like, damn, this is my gang chief. I look up to you. I sell drugs once a month for you. I'm doing everything for you. He's going to try to have you killed. For nothing. For a rumor. So you can't even look up to him. There is no one you can look up to. This brother has someone to look up to. You have the cure. What's your question again? Give him a hand. You can have say your answer again.
I was asking what is grace? Grace is the period that we have, that we were in sin, we now the ability to come back to the Lord.
Give him a hand. That's correct. To make it very simple, the crime that I do in the future, the crime I do tomorrow, tonight, I'm going to die for. The crime I did in the past is covered under grace. Grace is that period that you get to get over what you've done, not what you will do. You understand? Think of it like it's a direct term in the white man's court. Oh, it's a term, if you did something in the past and then it's too much time elapsed. Statute of limitation. You did something a while ago. If it happened a long enough time ago, it's covered under the statute of limitations, meaning it happened so long ago, no one will arrest you. Some things have no statute of limitations, like those murders. They're going to get you for that no matter what, 20 years from now. A grace period is like that time where it's because it's in the past, the Most High God is not going to punish you because your present is so fruitful and so righteous. Kevin, Laban, go ahead. That's what I just brought out. The water. Go ahead and read it.
Book of Ephesians, chapter 3, verse 2. If ye have heard of the dispensation of the grace of God, which is given me to you,
Please.
how that by revelation he made known unto me the mystery, as I wrote before in few words, whereby when you read, ye may understand my knowledge in the mystery of Christ, which in other ages was not made known unto the sons of men, as it is now revealed unto his holy apostles and prophets by the Spirit.
Laban, break it down. What do you want to break down with this?
How I always thought that is when it speaks about the dispensation. That's the time that you would.
I got you.
The period of time. And then when he speaks about Christ giving him the knowledge, it's Christ telling him that, I came as a sacrifice for everybody. So earlier in the breakdown, you mentioned that we are no longer under the law. So the penalty for breaking the law. Anybody's coming out and busting your head if you're committing some
correct.
So that's all I
You're correct. Give him a hand. He's definitely correct. I think the opposite. You get it? You got to know what sin is under the law, meaning that the law has the authority to hurt you because you are a current sinner. The law does not have authority over you if you're a past sinner. That's grace. That's all you need to cut Christians. They don't know the Bible anyway.
Right.
All right. Come on. Where we at? Need to get to my topic too. All right. Let me know when I need to do it. You got crossed the line. I'll get it on tonight. Come on. Go ahead, Can everyone hear me online? Am I right? Let me know if they can hear me. Go ahead.
This is a question from Shamar. It's like, sir, is there a biblical account of the fortune of prisons? And is it lawful to send someone to prison?
Forget about it. Let me give you the biblical account. It's in Deuteronomy 28. Brass and iron shall be thy roof, shall be the sky above thy head, and the ground under your feet. Absolutely, the Bible prophesied prisons, and it's in the book of Deuteronomy. Is it lawful to send somebody to prison? Absolutely, in certain cases. The Bible says this, that in all judgment have mercy. There is a judgment where prison is the merciful thing to do to someone. Because otherwise, I'm going to do that other thing to you.
That's right.
All right? And so there could be a time when Commander Juliana would just tell me, don't do that thing. And then you'll go to prison. You get the point. So what you want to do is just have mercy. So someone molests the child. Now you might want to do the other thing. It's better that he just goes to jail for 15 years because then he gets out. If the other thing happens, moving on. Everyone understands. And so what you want to just think about is to have mercy on him. To have mercy. Many times, like for instance, when I was bringing up about the how do you end gang violence? If a tragedy or a trauma happens to a child, that trauma is going to create a sickness. If I could make you understand it, think about it like someone cut you with a knife, and it hurts and it's painful. And then over time, if no one puts any salve or ointment on it, it gets infected. And now that infection grows, and now I die from this infection. If someone molests you, that wound has to be healed. How do you heal that wound? Justice. The person that molests you has to pay for it. They have to get hurt. It has to happen. The child has to know the person that did this to me was hurt over it. You could hurt him one way, you could hurt him the other way. It's better for them he does it the other way. All right, so there is a time when he absolutely should be put in jail. There's been plenty of times when I've had somebody's kids taken from them. You know, someone does something with their, you remember Tazariak, I took that brother's kids in New York. He was schizophrenic. He had his child at night at 4 a.m. They're calling me because he has this child on the street at 4 a.m. out at night. And I've told him time and time again to stop doing this with this child. Getting high on the street corner. He was nuts about the number 23 and 6. He had a book about the number 23. And he's had this kid at night. Finally, I just ordered Tazariak to take his kids from him, to call child services and take his kids. And they came and took his kids. And he's waiting for me outside of the headquarters to confront me when I don't get confronted up. I do not get confronted. And he came out there to confront me, and I jumped out the van and went to just like this, like to grab his neck. And I saw Corral. I always wanted to tell. I never even told Corral this. And I went to grab his neck to choke him. And Corral jumped up like he was going to choke him as well. And because I saw him, it made me not choke him. Because I went to go grab his neck. And I looked at Corral. I went to go grab his neck. And I saw him, and I go, I cannot get him in trouble. You get my point? I can't do this to him. And that's what saved that young brother's life. That's the fact. I'm just telling you the truth. We all fall short of the glory. Just know, you fuck with me, you might fall. I might fall short of the glory of Jesus. It's a true story that happened. So yeah, it's better than I take your kids from you. I call child services on it. I get you locked up. Trust me, it's better. All right, just take my word for it. It's better than the alternative. Any other questions? Out of the FBI got all that on tape, so they can follow my ass around more and more and more. Go ahead. The bottom line, I'm coming to you. Am I ready for my topic, or do I have any more questions? Solid. Let me start with the bottom line. Get him on camera. The bottom line, I've been meaning to get you on camera for a while. I want you to tell the brothers about the condition in El Salvador, about what's happened to our brothers and sisters in El Salvador.
El Salvador is a very violent country, all right? So it's Mexico. So it's Latin America in general, right? So we have in Latin America, we have a problem, with fentanyl, right? Fentanyl is another drug, the newest one, right? Mm-hmm. So before that, we have cocaine, marijuana, and whatever, right? So, General, how can you explain about these matters? Because see, the problem is not us, okay?
Of course.
The problem is the devil.
Of course.
You say all the time, the white man, the devil, right? So,
of course,
how in the heck is he getting away with everything and we code in default. Okay, how can you explain that, General?
I'm going to explain.
How? I'm telling you, General. You know, they accuse Bolivia of producing, you know, the cocoa, the leaf of coke, right? And they convert it into cocaine, right? And then the white man, you know, he has so many fucking chemicals,
Of course.
and they convert it into drugs, and they deliver it to us into our neighborhood.
Of course.
We have to remember, you know, the time that we was clean, okay, until the Black Panthers, right? Listen, sir, ever since I came to the ISUPK, I learned history. All right, and that's the reason why I'm asking you to tell us, okay? Why? I'm gonna say it. They went to Vietnam, they went to Afghanistan, and they planned opium over there and brought it over here, right? And delivered it into the black neighbors, into the Mexican neighbors, right? First of all, the Colombia was the number one country, you know, there was the one they say the manufacturing of cocaine. Now it's Mexico. Colombia doesn't have any anymore. Okay, now let me bring this point again. El Salvador is the one who is calling, okay, all the trafficking coming from South America, from Ecuador, from Colombia, okay, to the United States. But United States is still saying El Salvador. El Salvador is a place right now with everybody. El Salvador is the most peaceful country in Latin America today, even though the president is a Salvadorian. He's a Palestinian. I bring it up. Okay? Even though the Mexicans, they don't want to combat, you know, the gangster in Mexico. Okay. I follow politicians. It's not because I love them. I never vote for nobody. The only one I'm voting is for Jesus Christ.
That's right.
I follow them because I like to follow, you know, the philosophy of them, the lives of them. All right. So, can you explain how they use drugs and put it in our neighborhood?
I will. Let me ask you a question first.
Go ahead.
Another question. Tell us, what was it like growing up in El Salvador? What was it like when you were there? What was your life like there?
Sir, let me tell you. I left El Salvador because the United States government promote, okay, violence in our country.
Explain.
Yeah,
Explain that. What do you mean by that?
Sir, when in El Salvador, you know, have about 20 years of violence. Okay, in the civil war, the government against the people. Okay, and we fought each other. And when we get time of fighting each other, guess what we did? We flew to the United States. When they told me they was going to kill me, I said, ain't nobody was going to kill me. I got to go. I left. And guess what? El Salvador Army, there was it is today, okay, the Street 18. The guerrillas is the Mara 13, okay? The Mara 13, all right? And then the CIA, the one who promoted war, they infiltrated when we was over here in California, all right? And then they show us the art of gangs.
Who chose the gangs?
United States, the CIA. And guess what? And when we learned the art of gangs, they start deporting us. And when we get back over there, okay, we start killing our peoples over there.
That's right.
That's the case today, sir. And that's the case today.
That's where the MS-13 and those gangs come from El Salvador. created by the CIA.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Sir.
Exactly.
You know, so the Bible say, I'm gonna say it one time in front of you, everybody, the devil is the fucking liar.
Give him a hand. What's that? What's that? Say that in Spanish.
Huh?
Say that in Spanish.
El mentiroso del mundo.
Diablo, say it again.
Chingue a su madre.
Sí, sí. Prophesy. Go ahead.
Sir,
Please.
let me tell you one more thing. Okay? The government of El Salvador, which is the Palestinian, he captured everybody, okay? He put him in prison. Okay? So one time I told Captain Dabar right here, okay, that I wanted to go to El Salvador, right?
Done.
And he told me not to go,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because he's a very expert in the ISUPK, right? But I want to go right now to the prison of El Salvador to educate, okay, those bastards who was killing our people, the innocent people.
I understand.
But I only expecting, you know, the orders from the ISUPK if they say yes, it's time, or no, it's not time.
Because you're a soldier, give him a hand. Take the mic. Take the microphone. Let me give you a precept to answer his question. All right. Okay. This is where you're going to go. Give me Proverbs 28:19. Okay. Let me explain to you what the officer just described. He grew up in El Salvador, where they were terribly poor and suffering because America supported the government at that time, who was growing cocaine. They grew cocaine there, right? El Salvador is a fertile place with farms, and would they grow cocaine in El Salvador? Go ahead.
No, sir. No, sir.
What would they do?
No, sir. El Salvador is a peaceful people, okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay? We grew up corn, beans, sugarcane.
So how was El Salvador involved in the drug trade?
Because it comes from South America.
So
And
it
the
comes,
United States support them.
and so it comes from South America. So the El Salvadorians transport it to America.
No, sound like sir. El Salvador is just a way, it's a destiny to come to the United States.
So it's a middle passage to America.
One country.
Got you. And of course, it was very profitable.
For them, yes,
Forget
sir.
about it. To them. But of course, it hurt your brothers and sisters in El
Exactly.
Salvador, destroyed them. And then the gangs, of course, helped that middle passage to get drugs from Colombia to America, correct?
So like I
Go
said,
ahead.
you know, I want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
I want to say one thing. Central America, it has been, okay, especially El Salvador, okay, the country, okay, there has been more suffering, okay, from the 12 tribes. El Salvador has been in war. God damn, sir. Ever since
Together, we're gonna play it. Keep going.
Ever since the conquest of Christopher Columbus.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And then you was into a war, you know, between us, okay, between the army and the peoples. Now here comes again, okay. It was a period of time when the white peoples, okay, everybody had to remember one thing, okay. United States is not Donald Trump. United States is not Joe Biden. Somebody is behind them.
That's right. One question are the Sandinistas in El Salvador? The Contras, is that in that country? Where are the Sandinistas and the Contras? There was a big war that happened in the 80s. Where did that happen? Nicaragua. Nicaragua. See. See.
We are the same people.
See.
Guatemala, Belize, El Salvador,
They're all-
Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama.
all the tribes
We are the
have
same
a lot.
peoples.
That's
we
correct.
Are the Mayans, the tribe of Zebulon.
See.
All right.
I think I get it.
Okay.
Did you have
now,
go ahead, keep going.
now, sir, let me tell you one thing. Okay, thank you for the opportunity to let me talk about that. Okay.
Please.
Okay. El Salvador has been the most the United States has been hitting, you know, by this hating.
Yeah.
Okay, it was hated. Okay, from the United States. Okay, El Salvador, it was very recognized. Okay, by being the most, it being a tiny country of 25,000 miles. Okay, and we produce a lot of coffee. All right, but guess what? No, we did not. The rich people produced it. The 14 peoples.
That's right.
They govern the country. Okay, white peoples they come from United States, Europe, and studied there. They came from Spain, Germany, from Italy, from United States. White peoples,
That's
the
right.
fucking devil.
Yeah.
In the possession of El Salvador, okay, in the year 1930, okay, they killed 35,000 Indians just in order to possess the land and grow up coffee. And guess what? When you go to the stores and buy some coffee, guess what? It's coming from El Salvador.
That's right.
And they say El Salvador is rich because they have coffee. No, we are not. We are not. I'm talking about in my behalf.
Yeah, man.
I am a native. I never see no money coming in my behalf. The only one who can see that money is the goddamn fucking devil.
That's right. Give him a hand.
So you and the brother Mexican who built up this country.
Damn right.
Just I remember, sir. I remember when you gave me about the ISUPK. Okay, the ISUPK is a donkey. It's a fucking strong animal.
That's right.
Very domesticated.
That's right.
Very strong.
That's right.
And here we are. And for it, the Negro.
That's right.
Without the Negro, shit, the United States is nothing.
That's right. Give him a hand. That's right. One more time.
Sir General, okay, thank you for the opportunity to claim what I'm saying right now. The tribe of Zebulon, okay, is the one that has been, sir, the most devastated people out of the whole tribe.
That's right.
Out of the whole tribe, sir, out of the 12 tribes. We are. I remember one day I called you, sir, and I told you we was going to have it, but I was slaving, okay? And I couldn't call you and I couldn't do it. But what amazing opportunity they're having over here in Chicago. We do
Gracias. Gracias, partner. Manolito. Gracias. Give him a hand, warrior. And the young officer, brother, in Wisconsin under Captain DeGar, man. Wisconsin? Give him a hand. He's excellent. This brother grew up in a hellhole, brother, under the CIA in America in El Salvador and shaped his entire life. And what I'm going to show you today is what they're suffering in El Salvador is what you're suffering in Chicago, is what you're suffering in Colombia, in South and Central America, in Mexico. It's the same thing. Read that precept I just asked for. And then, Kawan, give me all the things I sent you today on the topic of gang violence, all right? What's the one I just asked for just now? Proverbs 28:19. Go ahead. Someone read it for me.
What was it, sir?
Proverbs 28:19. This is the answer to Zabalawan's question, all right?
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 28, verse 19. He that tilleth his land shall have plenty of bread.
Let me tell you something, brother. The tribe of Zabalawan, the Aztec Empire, the Incan Empire. Do you know? Give me how many black towns were in America. I send you that. Put that up on the screen or read it to me or something. Let me tell you something, brother. The Bible says, "He that tilleth his land shall what?" I appreciate it.
He that tilleth his land shall have plenty of bread.
1 second, I'll make an announcement. You got it.
It's like it's a silver-ish pickup truck in the parking lot with your lights on.
You got that? I read it again.
God number one God.
You got it.
That tilleth his land shall have plenty of bread.
What does it mean to till your land? To grow the coffee, to grow the corn like in Mexico, to grow the plantains in the West Indian Islands. If you're able to till your land, to work your land, you will have what?
Plenty of bread.
Oh, you're going to eat, brother. If you can work your land, if you can put your effort, your skill, your ingenuity, your hard work into your land, you're not going to starve. You're going to eat because it's your land and you work your land. Keep going.
God number one God. He that followeth after vain person.
But what?
But he that followeth after vain person.
But what?
But he that followeth after vain person.
Let me tell you, the land of El Salvador has every resource to make its citizens rich. The land of Mexico has every resource. The land of Nicaragua, the land, what's that land over there with all that oil? Venezuela has every resource to make its people rich. Puerto Rico has every resource. And the lands, let me show you another land that could be rich. What do you have here, Rob? Read that.
This is African American town, Providence, established at least 88, and perhaps as many as 200.
Let me tell you something now. After the Civil War, there were as few as 88 or as many as 200 black towns. Now you're sitting right here in Chicago with the dream of a black town in your mind, with a place where black people could till the land, could own the resources, could own everything in the land, work it to their own benefit.
Right.
At the end of the Civil War, there were up to 200 black towns. What happened to them? The white man is the devil, the Bible says. These towns were burned, the leaders murdered, and the towns wiped out. Don't ever think, in your mind in Chicago, you might think black people can't get themselves together. If you're from Mexico or Venezuela or Nicaragua, you might think we can't, govern ourselves. We can't find a way to make our own achievements. We have. The Incan Empire did it. The Aztecs did it. And there were 200 black towns here in America that did it. And the white man came and killed everyone there.
That's right.
And took over the town and slaughtered them. You know what was a famous black town started by a black man? Who wants to blow my mind? Come on, give it a shot. DeBar, Chicago, Illinois. This town here was started by a black man as a trading post for black people. And they came and stole it and took this town that you're in was started by a black man for black people. And there were 200 of these everywhere, not just in South and Central America, not in Mexico, but here where you're standing tonight. If you could work your own land, have your own products, build your own society, you would not lack bread. But he that trusts in a vain person, keep going.
Black towns throughout the United States during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Black towns, either mostly or completely African American incorporated communities and anonymous black governments and commercially oriented economies, often serving a hinterland of black farmers.
Meaning what? These were black towns, black farmers, black governments, everything black in the town. Thriving. You've heard about them. You dreamed about them. You think they're impossible. They already happened. They already happened. Just like they happened in Venezuela and in Mexico and in Colombia. They already happened already. Continue.
That's it, General.
They were killed. They were murdered because if you could work your own land, you would not lack bread. Give me the precept I'm asking for. Go ahead now.
Book of Proverbs, chapter
Get
28,
him on camera.
verse 19. He that tilleth his land shall have plenty of bread.
Uh-huh.
What he that followeth after vain persons shall have poverty enough.
This is what happened to Venezuela. Venezuela has the land, the climate, and the willing to work people who are smart, intelligent, who could survive without the oppressor and would thrive. Just like the tribe of Judah here in America and the West Indians in the West Indian Islands and Issachar in Mexico. But over time, this devil convinces us to trust him. And we believe he will make us rich. He will give us more money than simply growing corn or coffee in our own land. We're going to be able to get involved in the drug trade. And now we're going to make a lot more money. Venezuela trusted America. Nicaragua trusted America. Mexico trusted America. The tribe of Judah trusted America. And because of that, we're starving to death and poor. Because our oppressor is vain. He doesn't believe in a good, hard day's work. He doesn't believe in earning his money. He believes in stealing and in lying. And because of that, we thought we could make money like him. And we all turned to crime because the white man turned to crime. And we all thought it would be better for us. We all thought we could make more money than just simply saying, listen, man, this is our land. We're going to grow corn. We're going to grow crops and coffee, and we're going to get down. We're not going to get involved with the drug trade. No. Our leaders were seduced. And then the leaders that didn't get seduced were just murdered. Were just killed. And now here we are here, suffering and begging some devil in South, Central, and North America for food. Now here we are today in poverty. The reason that people sell drugs in Chicago and get involved in the drug trade in Mexico and get involved in the drug trade in South and Central America is because they're poor. Right. That's it. And that's all you need. All you need is for a man to starve and to put him in desperation. And then he will do anything for his children. Some brother, where's Yashakar at? Yashakar one day called me, brother. He teaches me Spanish. I'm terrible at it, but he's trying the best he can to teach me Spanish. Yashakar in charge of ISUPK Mexico. And he told me one time, Mark, about, he said, what do you do when you hear your children crying for food? They're crying, they're screaming because they need food. Now, what do? Not commit a crime? Not sell drugs? What in the F do you do when they're in Mexico yelling? And there's a cry that I have never even heard of a child being hungry and you can't feed him. That's something that a lot of us have never heard. I've never heard that cry that a child has when you know this is about food. And you're rocking and kissing and shaking and trying to make them calm down. But they need to eat, and you don't have it. That's what Yashakar heard growing up. That's what the brother heard in Venezuela. He heard that sound that will break your heart. That sound is why people sell drugs. That sound. It's why they do it. They don't have a choice because our oppressor is the devil, and he convinces you to live out a path that will make you poor. That will make you need him in the end. And then in the end, once you need him, you'll do anything he tells you to do. Everyone understands? That's the problem in Chicago, poverty. Those projects they had in Chicago, that Caprini Green, who knows what Caprini Green is? Ooh, Lord. I came up here back in the day when Caprini Green was up. That was something else. We had one in Philadelphia where I'm from called Richard Allen Projects. And it was so similar to me that as Caprini Green, when it was like another world. It wasn't America. It was another place. And you've had projects. Give me some names of some projects in Chicago that they've destroyed already. Right here, Warrior.
Robert Taylor.
Say again?
Robert Taylor.
Robert Taylor. I've heard of those too. Who else? Anyone else? In the back. Ida B. Wells. I've heard of them too. Anyone else? These were worlds full of poor people in a desperate situation. Come on, Maya. Stateway Gardens. Yeah, man. Come on. Oh, you got him? Come on, DeBar.
Talking about getting rid of Parkway Gardens.
Cool. Give me some ones in Detroit. Y'all know y'all have projects down there. Come on, Detroit, right here. Brewster projects. Any more? That's the one you were going to say? Any other Midwest ones? Come on. Brightmore, LeBun, Jeffries. My God, come on.
King Homes.
King Homes. Yeah, that's the band on that. I mean, come on, Warrior. The Menominee Reservation. Absolutely. What are you going to do there? What? What option do you have? Listen to the cry? Ignore it? Ignore that sound? Ignore that sound, it's too much to hear. It's to hear it, it scars you. It scars you to hear that sound and know that you're a man or a mother and you can't do anything about it. Your oppressor depends on that. He knows that if he fools you and tricks you enough, you will put yourself in a situation to hear that cry, and then in the end, he knows just what you'll do. You'll do anything to stop that cry. That's what happened to Venezuela. That's what happened to Nicaragua. That's what happened to Detroit, to Chicago. That's what happened to you. He caused it. Now, how are you so susceptible to it? How are you able to be taken by it? The trauma. The trauma. The trauma is what makes you easily lied to, easily fooled. I'm going to go into the trauma now. What did I send you earlier? Anyone you have. You got the precepts, I'll take them.
Send me the Baltimore magician
I don't even remember that one.
about the pro China operatives.
Say it again.
About the pro China operatives.
Okay, not that. That's about the purple pigs. I'll get that in 1 second. That's a good one too. What else did I say?
My house.
Yeah, I'll take this one. Now, what I'm trying to explain to you today, what I'm hoping that I can get across to you, is how do you become susceptible to the lies of white people? It doesn't just start, it doesn't just start out of nowhere. The white man puts you in a position and weakens you enough so where he comes to you with a plan to help you, it seems beneficial to you. By the time he comes to you to sell drugs, it seems like, yes, I should sell drugs, but there's a path to get there. It's the long game. So many of us only understand the short game. Like Venezuela, you might only understand what's happening today in Venezuela. But right now in Venezuela, you're seeing the end of the long game in Venezuela. Venezuela is being gentrified. That's what's happening in Venezuela. They have a hard-nosed, tough-on-crime heathen that's going to arrest every gang member, get rid of the gangs, and bring prosperity to Venezuela. That's the end result of a program to weaken the people, impoverish the people, imprison the people, and then before you know it, Venezuela will be Jamaica. One love. Montego Bay. It'll be a vacation spot in 2 years. It'll be a place you go to for vacation. LA, watch out. LA, this is happening. LA got those palm trees. The only thing in the way is those gang neighborhoods around USC College, and they'll get rid of them. And then you'll go to those neighborhoods, buy beautiful homes, and it'll be beautiful. It'll be wonderful. Oh, in Chicago, you got these homes around that lake. They love that big ass lake in Chicago. Just wait a second. Everywhere close to that lake, where you have gangs, the long game is to get that neighborhood close to that lake, so they can sell those homes for astronomical amounts of money, and they bought them for you for $20,000. That's it. It's the long game that you can work if you own the country. You understand? That long game happens in Harlem. I saw it happen in Harlem. I'm sitting in Harlem, and it's the blackest place in the world. And then, before you know it, everybody is white. And you're sitting there looking around you like, well, how did this happen? And then you know how it happened. Nicky Barnes is how it happened. That's how it happened. The drug dealers is how it happened. All the gang violence back in the day is how it happened. Now it's a tourist spot for white people. And you cannot, you know how much it costs to live in Harlem right now? Don't ask. It'll make me bang my head on this effing table on how much it costs to live in Harlem right now today. To live in a 1-bedroom apartment, I'll give it to you, $2,500. To live in a 1-bedroom, Asher, what am I doing? Please break it down. Asher knows.
And Columbia University is like the second biggest entity that owns the property. So what they've been doing when I was back in school, I was working with a black lawyer who was involved in fighting against Columbia University, trying to take over Grant Hill projects and all the projects that were there around Columbia University. And they're working with the DA. So if you live with your grandma and you got caught selling drugs, you can no longer be on the lease when she dies, the apartment goes to Columbia.
Yeah. It used to be where if you live with your grandma, the apartment went to you. But now if you have a drug record, you live with your grandma, you leave and Columbia gets it. And it costs $2,500 a studio in Harlem right now. That's the long game, Chicago. That's coming here. It's coming to Venezuela. It's coming to Mexico. It's coming there. Come on. Read what I have. Now, I'm going to show you where it starts. Read.
1973, Hanafi Muslim massacre.
Many of you know that the Nation of Islam is based in Chicago, right? Oh, Farrakhan has a big old mosque. Where is it at? On Stony Garden? Stony Island. He has a big old mosque down there on Stony Island. Let me give you the history of the Nation of Islam. Go ahead now. I'm starting in the midpoint. If I started at the beginning, I'd start with Farad Muhammad, who was a murderer and who murdered people. And Elijah Muhammad was his #1 murderer. I'm going to skip ahead to 1973, I believe, to the Hanafi murders. Go ahead and read it.
The 1973 Hanafi Muslim massacre took place on January 18, 1973. 2 men and a boy were shot to death. 4 other children ranging in age 9 days to 10 years old were drowned.
Did I give you the video? Boy, I got a video on this. Keep going.
Two others were severely injured. The murders took place at 7700 16th Street in Washington, D.C. A house purchased for a group of Hanafi Muslims to use as the Hanafi American Muslim men's rifle and pistol club.
I gave you the Farad Muhammad one, right? Okay, keep going.
The property was purchased and donated by then a Milwaukee Bucks basketball player, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I sent the brother a video. I'm going to speed it up for you for time's sake. In 1973, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you've heard of him, right? He broke his group called the Hanafi Muslims, broke off from the Nation of Islam. Skip down. Someone read this for me out fast. The whole story and nonsense. I'll start saying it. You tell me when I'm caught up with it. He bought a home for them to have a school. But the problem is the leader of that organization sent 50 letters to 50 mosques in the Nation of Islam saying that Elijah Muhammad was a false prophet. He was not a good leader. He was evil. He was wrong. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar broke off with this group that believed that, what's his name? Elijah Muhammad was a false teacher and sent 50 letters out to 50 mosques. They went to mosque number 12 in Philadelphia, which I grew up knowing about mosque number 12. They were, JBM or the evilest drug dealers in the world, right? And they went to Washington, D.C. and sent men to this Gaddafi school that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar purchased. And they killed everybody in this school. They killed a 9-day-old baby, drowned the baby. They killed a 20-week-old baby. Do you have the thing? Read it, because it's terrible. It's horrific.
The background. At the time of the murders, Black Muslims were known as the Nation of Islam, NOI, and then changed their name to the World Community Islam in the West. Muhammad Abdul-Wahab was originally a Roman Catholic and the Seventh-day Adventist, born in Gary, Indiana. As Ernest Timothy McGee, he converted to Sunni Islam, and on the advice of his Islamic teacher, Tesabo Arden Rahman, infiltrated the Black Muslims.
I'm going to skip down, go down. Read the map. All of that, I'm bringing this up. I'm going to show you a father figure in Chicago. To show you where the sickness comes from. This is a father figure in this town you live in right now. Continue.
Massacre. On January 12, 1973, several Black Mafia affiliates traveled to Washington, D.C. and scattered the home. Then on January 17, 1973, Ronald Harvey, John Clark, John Bubbles Prince, John Griffin, Theodore Moody, William Christian, and Jerome St. Clair traveled in 2 vehicles from Philadelphia to Washington, D.C.
Keep going.
One of the men claiming to be interested in purchasing literature about the Hanafi and arranged to come to the residence to purchase the literature. 2 of them came to purchase material. One man gave Kalasi's son.
I sent you a video just now, Walk. See if you see it. Oh, damn. Okay, go ahead. Keep going. I just want to get to the murders for time's sake. Keep going.
Concert. One man gave Kalasi's son, Daoud, a bill and needed some change. Daoud left the room to get change, and upon returning, he was told, this is a stick-up. The 2 men then left 5 or 6 additional people into the residence. Daoud was killed first. Slightly, he was taken to the 3rd floor and shot. Abdul Noor was shot in a bed. Bibi Khalis, one of Kamas' wives, was forced to watch them drown. Two of the children in the upstairs bathtub.
Now, this is the Nation of Islam. These are your father figures. This is your righteous man in Chicago. The woman was forced to watch them drown her babies. She had to sit there and they drowned her children in a bathtub. Continue.
Kind of a concert.
If you want, someone can find a YouTube. Just put in Hanafi murders in YouTube and you'll get the news reports. Continue.
Upstairs bathtub, and she was also taken to the basement where she was forced to watch them drown her 9-day-old granddaughter in a sink. Then Bibi was bound, gagged, and shot 8 times.
Now, can you imagine, which I know you've been through this, you're in Chicago, you're trying to run from the gangs, run from the ghetto, run from the violence. You run to where? The church. Give me the Catholic Church. I sent you one about that. You run to the church. You run to the Nation of Islam. And they're going to have you commit murders in the Nation of Islam. These Muslims murdered a 9-day-old baby. And they interviewed, the police interviewed him, and they said, well, why did you feel the need to kill the 9-day-old baby when the baby didn't send letters saying that Elijah Muhammad was a false prophet. The man said the father was a heretic, which meant the baby would become a heretic and he had to die too. And they killed all of the children. This is who you turn to deliver you and change your life. The problem with Chicago is your authority figures are immoral here. Your mayor is immoral. Your police chief is immoral. Your father and your mother, they're immoral. And you look to these people like, okay, I'm a child. I need you. I need your help. Show me how to live. Your mother's on drugs. Your father's on drugs. Your police department is corrupt and they murder people unjustly. Every person who is in charge in your life is corrupt. Then you find religion and you go to the Catholic Church. You have that? You got the Catholic Church? Oh, shit. Just tell me what I got you. Let me just read it for you about the Catholic Church. You can. This is for the tribe of Yashikar here in America. I mean, here in Chicago. Stand by. This is terrible. I told you that Chicago is America's most corrupt city. Give me that. Did I tell you one about Farad Muhammad? Read that one. Let me give you that one. The Catholic Church in Chicago said that they had 245 priests who were molesting children in this city. 245. And of course, you know what tribe is Catholic. The South and Central American tribes and the tribe of Yashikar. 245 priests in this city, not the country, in this city, molested children. So now you're trying to run out of the barrios and the poverty-afflicted ghettos of the Mexicans. You run to the Catholic Church to help you. They molest you. They increase your suffering. The problem with Chicago is that Chicago is poorly parented. You understand? There are just no parents here. Raise your hand if your mother and father smoke weed. That's the problem. So what do? Do you look at your mother and father like they're pure? Raise your hand if your mother was a whore, and had sex with a lot of men. And so what do? So now your mother is a hoe. How do you ever look at women like they're pure? How do you ever say her, well, she's a woman, she's good, she'll never cheat on me, she's decent, she's honest. A woman, your mother is she's the first woman in your life. She's supposed to be your ideal woman. Your ideal woman is a hoe. Raise your hand if your father was a drug addict. Your father is supposed to be the first protector in your life. He's a drug addict. What are you supposed to do? Turn to the police. Guess what? They're corrupt. Go to your principal. He's corrupt. Go to your mayor. He's corrupt. Go to the Nation of Islam. They're corrupt. There is no one that can be your father figure. No one that can be a good parent. And so this child is left to the one thing he has, the voice in his mind that says, be selfish, just like them. What do you have here?
I did manage to find that Knock the Muscle Master video.
Oh, go ahead. Play that. I gotta go my breath. Sorry, y'all here. Where we at? We got happen now. You play the video in your own time. This is an excellent video. It's what we just brought out. They killed all the damn babies in that place. Let me bring out a couple. You gotta read it on your own time for time's sake, all right? I'm gonna go to Titus 1:15. And then Isaiah 1:5.
The book of Titus, chapter 1, verse 15.
That's in loud.
Con. Unto the pure, all things are pure. But unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure.
The Bible says, unto the pure, all things are pure. When were you ever pure? When did you ever have an innocence about your life? When did your innocence leave? Like, when did you realize your parents were just people and they were fallible and they were weak? What age does that happen? Raise your hand if you can tell me the age when you didn't look up to your parents anymore. The bar.
16, 17.
17, come on. 16, 17 in the back. 9, come on. Say again. 5 or 6. Where, you're supposed to say, I'm going to walk like my daddy, act like my daddy, talk like my dad. I'm going to look up to my mom. And then you start to just see that they're not right. They're just people. They're fallible. If you had a mother that's a lesbian, you know what I'm talking about. If you had a father that's a sodomite, you know what I'm talking about. Well, you're never able to actually think, my parents are perfect. That is the privilege of every child. Here is your child's privilege. My mother is perfect. My father is perfect. Every child needs that. How many of you never had that? Yeah. Then you grew up and you couldn't find it in the church, and you couldn't find it in the police, and you couldn't find it in the school, and you couldn't find it in the government. That's where gangs come from. Gangs come from that. But you couldn't find it. Read the precept again I asked for.
Con, sir. The book of Titus, chapter 1, verse 15. Unto the pure, all things are pure.
If you're pure, if you're innocent, everything is innocent. So if you grew up thinking my mother's perfect, my father's perfect, you grow up and you leave their house and you go, I'm never going to commit crime. I'm not going to hurt anybody. I'm not going to sell my body. I'm not going to have sex with someone I shouldn't, because my mother and father were perfect. Everything is perfect to me because I'm perfect. My mother and father were perfect. I'll never dirty myself with that kind of behavior. Unto the pure, everything is pure. Keep going.
Con. But unto them that are defiled.
But them that are what?
Defiled.
What age were you defiled? 6 years old, 9 years old, 13. By 13, forget about it. By 13, it's time to murder some people. By 13, it's time to really get it on. At 13, because you're so filthy by then. You're so dirty by 13. Unto the defiled, keep going.
And unbelieving.
And you don't believe in anything. You don't believe in right and wrong, in righteousness, in good and evil. That means nothing. Here's what you believe in: getting what you have to get. Selfishness, because that's how your mother was. That's how your father was. That's how your mayor is. That's how the Nation of Islam is. That's how your Catholic Church is. Yashikar. Microphone. Next precept I asked for in Isaiah.
Growing up, a lot of times you get to see, parents when their kids start, acting out, or they can't control them anymore. And I see them a lot even today where, they say, man, why he acting like that? Why she acting like that? But then there's an example. But when you tell them, well, it's because he looks up to you.
Yeah.
He sees what you do.
They don't,
but he can't, or they can't. I'm an adult. I'm a grown up.
Of course.
So I think that's like what you're saying. Is like,
that's exactly what I'm saying. Give me a hand. Give me Isaiah 1 and 2. This is my last one. If you want to know if you are a piece of garbage, parent, let me explain. Let me give you one saying you'll say. But I'm grown. You're a piece of garbage. That's it. You need the next car accident. You need the COVID-19 virus. You need that because you are a piece of trash. But I'm grown. Yeah, I'm smoking weed. I'm getting high, but I'm grown. Yeah, I'm having sex with all these men, but I'm grown. You are a piece of trash. Please.
That reminds me of this video I was watching about a sister crying to her baby dad saying she doesn't want her son no more because she wants to go out and club and party and vacation, and she is tired of being a mom. She don't want to be. She wants to give it up so she can go live a free lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, listen. If I can make you understand one thing tonight, I want you to understand this. Look at her mom. That's what you need. That's where it comes from, and that's what you got to get when you're seeing, kids murdering each other over being a gangster disciple or a black disciple or this and that, and you're looking at it like this is terrible. Someone needs to do something about this. Someone created it, and if you don't deal with who creates this, you can never stop this. Parents make bad children, and in a society, you have the parents in the home, you have the parents at school. You have the parents in police cars. You have the parents in city government. You have the adults that are supposed to be better than the kids. In Chicago, you have terrible parents at every stage of government, starting with the home, ending with the mayor's office. LeBun. Nice and loud. I got a nation of bees over my head. Aliens in the room right now. Go ahead. Nice. Speaking to it.
Many of us raised our hands.
Of course.
6, 9,
Of course.
So that was your experience as a child. How do you? What's the gauge to determine whether or not you're giving your kids too much now? Because my personal experience.
Of course.
Because of how I was deprived, I tend to spoil my kids. And then now I realize giving them so much, not good for them. It can be just as destructive as depriving them. I like depriving them, they make them work the things and earn things.
I'm going to answer that question right now in Isaiah. But let me give you the short answer for time's sake. Start at Isaiah 1 and 2.
Sir. The book of Isaiah.
Let me just get LeBun's question. LeBun is saying, you were raised like that, so then you might spoil your children. Is that what you're saying? You mean spoil them with? Give me some everything. Bicycles, video games, Amazon, toy cars. Forget about those video games. I got you. Because you knew what? You grew up with what? With none of those things. Let me help you out. I'll explain. You're not hurting a child because he doesn't have video games. You're hurting a child because of the traumas you cause him. And your parents caused you those same traumas. Let me give you something that you shouldn't give him. Don't ever argue with your wife in front of him. Start it. You start that. Meaning, if you knew you grew up in a home where you and your wife, where you and your father and your mother, your father and your mother, or your father and different men fought and cursed and said evil things in front of you, a video game won't get rid of that. You giving them a video game will not get rid of that. What you have to provide for them is to make sure they don't get hurt the way you get hurt. This is not about giving them money. It's about not giving them trauma. You want to not give them the trauma. Don't do that to them. Don't smoke weed. Don't do that. Don't smoke cigarettes. Don't fight in front of your child. Don't let your child hear you call his mother a bitch. Don't let your child hear you call his father an ain't shit nigger. Because when they hear it, they're going to go, my parents are not perfect and I'm not pure. Let me give you the worst thing in the world. This has happened to you. You're a piece of garbage. And I'm telling you this so you can change yourself. If your child has ever said, stop mommy, stop daddy, Don't fight. Don't do that. Stop fighting. Mommy and daddy forgive each other. You're a piece of shit. Now face that in yourself. Like, look at that in yourself and go, my child corrected me. My child had to correct me. You're a piece of shit. And I'm going to get involved in your life and take your child from you one day. And I'm going to do it with pleasure. Because your children, they're calling me. They start to call me. I give them my card at events like this. I'm going to give some of your children my card this weekend. And they're going to call me when you argue and when you fight. So you can hand them, money. But if your child are going, stop it. Stop arguing. Mommy, no. If you're arguing with her and they start to cry, you're a piece of shit. You're hurting them. You're traumatizing them, and they're going to hurt people because you hurt them. Come on, quickly. I gotta go.
Kind of a concert. The book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 2. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth.
Skip to 3.
Kind of one kind. Verse 3.
If you got to set up, Zaria, just come set up, all right? Zaria, if you got to come set up, just come do it. Go ahead.
Kind of one kind. The book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner.
Skip to 4.
Kind of one kind. A sinful nation. A people laden with iniquity.
A people what?
Laden with iniquity.
Laden is like a ladle, meaning it's like evil is spread over you. You're bathed in it. Keep going.
Kind of one kind. A seed of evildoers.
The what?
A seed of evildoers.
That's where it starts, man. If you're thinking the IUIC thought they could march on O-Block and stop O-Block from doing what their mothers and fathers have caused, that's not how it works, Purple Pigs. No one stops committing crime because they're afraid of you. They're not punks. They're not afraid of anything. And their mothers and fathers have destroyed them. You can't intimidate them out of crime. You'll have to heal the pain that causes the crime.
Right.
Continue.
Kind of one kind. Children that are corrupters.
Keep going.
They have forsaken the Lord.
Keep going.
They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger.
Keep going.
They have gone away backwards.
Keep going. What verse are you in?
Verse 5, sir.
Go ahead, read 5.
Kind of one kind. Why should ye be stricken any more? Ye have revoked more and more.
Why should you be hurt anymore? Haven't we been hurt enough in Chicago, in the Midwest? Are you telling me that you're still smoking weed and arguing and fighting in front of your children? Let me tell you something. There is no more underappreciated being than the child in your house. That child means nothing. You know what I like in Black and Hispanic children too? Excrement. Who knows what excrement is? I don't gotta tell you, right? Right? It comes out of someone's ass. And you don't care about it after it comes out of you. That's what your children are. They drop out of your body, and after they come out, you kick dirt on it and forget it. You don't care. Having a child does not change you. Why aren't you giving up alcoholism because you're a father?
Right.
Why don't you say, I'm a father now? I can't drink anymore. I'm a father. I had a child. I have to stop because you don't give a fuck about that child. That child means nothing. I was smoking weed. I was going to the club. Hold up, I have a child now. I can't do that anymore. You don't give a fuck about that child. That child is like a piece of shit that dropped out of your ass and you forget it. It's the product of eating. Like the child is a product of sex. What you wanted is the sex. You didn't want the baby. Just like you want the food, but you don't want the shit. And it comes out of you and you could care less because it doesn't change your life. You won't stop partying. You won't stop smoking weed. You won't stop getting drunk. You won't even stop arguing in front of the baby. The baby means nothing to you. that child is the seed of evildoers. That's where that child comes from. It comes from you. And the minute you betray it, so will the police, so will the school. When the child says, I'm being bullied in school by the gangster disciples or the black disciples, that school will do nothing to protect that child because that principal is just like you. The police chief is just like his mother. The mayor is just like his father. Continue.
The whole head is sick.
What?
The whole head is sick.
What?
The whole head is sick.
The leadership.
The whole head
Come on, bro.
is sick.
The whole thing. So you watch children killing each other like, why won't they stop? You're the reason that they don't stop. And your child is going to do the same thing. They won't stop for the reason you can't stop. You telling me you can't argue with your wife later? Is that what you're saying? You can't curse your husband out later? You could do it later, you know. The child is sitting there trying to play. You can't even send the child to its room. You can't even keep the noise down. You can't keep any modification on the fact that you're a parent, you're a piece of garbage. And don't complain about the gangs. You're the reason for the gangs. And your child is going to sell more drugs than you can imagine. And shoot more people and be terrible. And you're going to go, these kids today, this new generation. Keep going.
Comment. And the whole heart faints. For the sole of the feet, even unto the head, there is no soundness in it.
From the top of the head to the sole of the feet, soundness is health. There's no health in it from the top to the bottom. And you trying to vote your way out of a gang problem, march your way. So after you get done marching, where does that child go home to? To you. It's not going to work. It's not going to work because you just don't give a fuck about kids. You just don't care. You want to get high. You're a drug addict. You have cannabis. I looked this word up today. You have it. Cannabis. It's some word like alcoholism for cannabis. I love the word alcoholism because every alcoholic I've ever counsel can never say they're an alcoholic. It's funny when you say, are you an alcoholic? Oh, no. I just drink too much sometimes. No. I just had too much to drink sometimes. No, I'm alcoholic. And there's a word for a weed addict. It's like cannabis dependency or some word like that. You got it up? Cannabis dependent. And no, of course, no one is that. Right? No one is cannabis dependent. You just like to smoke weed all day, every day, all the time, every minute of the day. But you're never cannabis dependent. No, of course not. You're never that. Your desire for weed is what's primary in your life, not your child. Your child is a piece of shit that fell out your woman's ass. And that's all. Continue. You can keep reading the precept. You got cannabis? Read that.
Cannabis use disorder. Cannabis use, also known as CUD, also known as cannibal addiction or marijuana addiction, is defined in the 5th revision of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder.
Of what disorder?
Of mental disorder.
Of what disorder?
Of mental disorder.
Do you understand that the thing that we all grew up with is a mental disease? The doctor says so, not Commander Giuliani. The doctor. And we all grow up like we're normal. We're mentally ill. According to them. Keep reading.
Signs and symptoms.
Here's the sign and symptom. Wait to see your mother and your father and yourself. Keep going.
Cannabis use is sometimes comorbid.
Comorbid. You know what comorbid means? It's with another disorder. Guess what you homosexuals are? You also love weed. Guess what you lesbians are? You also love weed. Guess what you thieves are? You also love weed. How many gang members do you think smoke weed? 100%. That's a comorbidity, meaning it's with another disorder. There would be no, you couldn't go rob a nigga without getting high first. Who has ever robbed? Never robbed nobody. It's part of the ceremony. It's like ceremonial. Okay, let's sit here, get high, get good and high, and then let's shoot all of them. Let's get good and high, then let's rob them. Let's get good and high, and let's go to the strip club. Let's get good and high, and let's go hurt someone. That's a comorbidity, according to the doctor. What drug addict, what homosexual doesn't get high? What bulldagger doesn't get high? They all get high. It's a comorbidity. It comes with another sickness. Continue.
Cannabis use is sometimes comorbid for other mental health problems, such as mood and anxiety disorders.
Keep going.
And discontinuing cannabis use is difficult for some users.
Do you know how you know if you have this disease? If it's difficult to stop smoking. You're a mental patient. The doctor is saying if it is difficult for you to stop, you have this mental disorder. You're sick and you're trying to raise kids. Yes, they're in a gang, huh? Why the F not? They're in a gang. Their parent is mentally ill, according to doctors. You're ill if you can't stop. That's what it just said. If you find it difficult to stop smoking weed, you're sick. Meaning this, when someone says stop smoking, you're supposed to just be able to stop. Or else you have a clinical disease. Keep going.
Psychiatric comorbidities are often present in dependent cannabis users, including a range of personality disorders.
Some of you think you're transmorphic, transgender. You think you're a man instead of you're a woman, and you're a woman instead of you're a man. Some of you have so many problems that society says are fine, but the doctor doesn't. Right here. Go back to the precept. I gotta go. Just keep starting across the line, all right? Keep going. Back to Isaiah.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 6. From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds.
But what?
But wounds.
But what?
But wounds.
When your mother and father were arguing in front of you as a child, when you saw your father hit your mother, when you saw your mother hit your father, when your father come in drunk and beat your mother, when your mother was high and came in with other men, and you're constantly hurt over and over again. You're full of wounds. And now you're 15 and you join a gang and people wonder what's wrong with Chicago. You're the problem, the adults. The adults are the problem with Chicago. Not some 13-year-old boy. You're the problem. The Catholic priests cause the gang problem. The mayor causes the gang problem. The corrupt police department, they cause the gang problem. And the number one authority figure are the parents. And you cause the gang problem. We had a hand up over here. Right? Get this brother right here next to you, Mama Quiet. You had your hand up? No sweat. Keep going.
Kind of one concert. But wounds and bruises.
And what?
And bruises.
This is it up. If you want to end the gang problem, this is how you do it. You're going to have to stop hurting your kids. And then for the people who are already hurt, you're going to have to give them the medicine. Commanding General Yohana provides that medicine. That's what this school is built up to do. To give them salve, the ointment to heal these bruises. These bruises have to be healed because you grew up in that home. You grew up with that police department. You grew up under that school system. So now you need a new father figure, a new mother figure, new brothers, and they have to be perfect. They have to be perfect. That's our obligation. Perfection. When the KC-4 was assaulted, you don't think we wanted to kill them? We wanted to kill them. We had councils about it. And we fought and we fought and we fought. And Commanding General Yohana said, the Most High God said, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Because we can't be like Farad Mahmoud. We can't be like the Muslims. We can't be the Catholic priests, because then we will hurt our children. We'll hurt them. There won't be any place they can go to where someone feels the burden of perfection. They won't have it. And so we have to be it. As much as it hurts, we have to be it. We can't fight amongst each other. We can't hate one another, because we have the burden of perfection for our children. Because our children have already been hurt by someone else, and we can't hurt them more. That is every officer's burden. That is every captain's, every general's burden, to provide the perfect father figure for these children, to be the perfect person that Farrakhan couldn't be, the Nation of Islam couldn't be, the gang chief couldn't be, the police captain couldn't be, the reverend couldn't be. Otherwise, we can't heal these wounds up. And they have got to be healed. They have got to be healed. Any more?
And foot-ripping shoes, they have not been closed. Neither bound
That word
up.
is putrefying. A putrefying sore is an infected sore. No one has even done anything about it. Some of you, you go to your mother, you tell your mother you were molested by her boyfriend. What will she say? Who knows what she'll say? Sisters, I know you know. What does your mom say if you tell her, Mom, your boyfriend molested me, sister? Say, come on. One more time, nice and loud. That is as common as the raindrops, what she just said. You tell your mother, your boyfriend molested me. It was your fault, or he didn't even do it. She's not going to try to heal you. It doesn't matter to her. You're a piece of shit that fell out of her ass, and she'll kick dirt over it and forget it for her own pleasure. That, give her a hand, the sister a hand, for being honest. Someone has got to mollify that wound. So you were molested, all right. Well, you need some justice. And many times you'll have to confront that molester. That's something that we've done many times in school. That molester, you gotta have to talk with him. Why? Sometimes it happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But you're gonna have to walk over to him and say, you did this, you did that. This is what's gonna happen to you now. Why? To heal you. To heal you. So you can get some ointment. Please, brother. Go ahead, Warren.
The last thing that was said was that because the sister that said about like her daughter getting molested and making excuses. So this is why that the whole thing about smoking reefer and weed and the brothers talking about getting self-medicated is a joke, man. Put the goddamn weed down, man.
Give him a hand. Yeah, weed is not a medication. Weed is doing what your mother did and your father did. Weed is to poison your child more. Come on up.
And I wanted to say, since you bring
Where do I go after class?
bring to mind about that innocent girl that Polite molested, and now she's able to have her womb modified because somebody stood up for her and somebody did believe in her.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Give him a hand. That's correct. Last one anymore?
A little bit more.
Come on, quickly. Come on, I'm ready to go. Just tell me where to go after class, all right? Go ahead.
They have not been closed.
They have what?
They have not been closed.
You got to sew up that wound up. Get some stitch and sew the thing up. That brother is hurt. That sister is hurt, man. Somebody has to tend to that wound. The wound you have of childhood. Childhood traumas are the primary factor in every evil in your life. That's it. That's where the gangs come from. That's where crime comes from. Childhood traumas. And they have got to be sewn up. That's what Commanding General Yohana has sent you to do, to sew them up. Ye must be born again. You've got to start over. You've got to begin again, because your first birth has a wound, has a scar. Continue.
Come. Neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment.
That's what mollify means. You go and take that wound out, put some peroxide on it. Some of that, what's that plant all you hippies love? Aloe. You take that aloe, put that aloe on all that thing, I rub that thing down, brother. Listen, you better do that to your childhood, man. You looking at some 13-year-old gang member like King Vaughn or something. How old was King Vaughn when he got killed? 26 years old, a child. Can you imagine what his life was like? A child, 26 years old. Why not? Why not be just like him? Go look into his mom and pop. I haven't, but I know what I'll find if I do. Everybody understands, right? Well, what's the duck one? What's his name? FB what? Yeah, I don't know anything about him. I know everything about him. I'll just go look up into his mom and pop and find out everything about him that I want to find out about him. Go ahead. Say again? The brother said his mom has her OnlyFans. I wonder why his life ended up like that. Who knows? You know. And tons of you parents like to say he's the product of his environment. You think just because you lived in the projects, your child ended up like that. Your child is like that because they live with you. And they live with that mayor and that Catholic priest and that police department. Not the projects, but you anymore. With that, who am I waiting for? Who's taking the class? Pass the class over to Gad right here in the back. Give it up.
First, salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Benjamin stand. Men of Israel, Imam Shabbat, Imam Barak. As my time for your sisters, says Imam stand. Men of Israel, Imam Shabbat, Imam Barak. That's my time. Class dismissed. Also, if I could get his attention real